Right, welcome to the Powerful Lives podcast with no other than Vas Blackwood.
Your stupidity might be your one saving grace.
Huh?
Don't me, Greek boy. How is it your fucking stupid, soon-to-be-dead friends thought that they might be able to steal my cannabis and then sell it back to me? Is this a declaration of war? Is this some white cunt's joke that black cunts don't get? Because I'm not fucking laughing, Nicholas. It's about 20...
Welcome, mate.
Legend.
Thank you, Brett. Thank you for having me, Brett. Jimmy, thank you for
All
having
good,
me.
my mate. All good. I can generally, honestly, I'll get this out of the way quickly, but I swear to God, hand on my heart, one of my most favourite people walking this earth, Vas. I have to say, you're a proper good fella, and I couldn't wait to get you on.
Nice.
Good man.
Pleasure to be here.
I think it's one of them where I think we've grown up watching him. You know, the shadow for us, but it's just even now we still use phrases from that episode, like just unbelievable.
Well, do you know, so I'm gonna shock you. Yeah. Hand on my heart, I've never seen one episode of Only Fools and Horses. I swear to God, not one, not even one. Even when Vas come and done an event in the pub, and people were going to me, "Oh yeah, Shadow," and I had to look at it on YouTube to see what it was about. I didn't know, but I know, obviously, Rory Breaker.
You thought he was on Gladiators.
I thought he was on Gladiator. I thought he's changed a bit. Vas, what you got to say, mate? 40-year career.
Well, I mean, you know, as we were saying, it's like a celebration, I should imagine, to say, 40 years plus in the industry.
Yeah.
And to come on the show, to have a little chat about myself. I mean, there is a lot to talk about to a degree, but I mean, I still have to just sort of take in that whole, how can we say, the whole, it's a feeling.
Yeah.
It's not historic necessarily, but it's more or less to do with, it's an achievement. I'd say, yeah, that's a good word.
Yeah.
The achievement of staying in this industry, the entertainment industry, because there's no business like show business, and I've just kind of stuck with it myself and quite a few other actors. I mean, listen, I look at people like Anthony Hopkins, whom I actually know, Tony Hopkins.
Tony.
Tony. Yeah, Tony. And I just look at him and I think to myself, there's hope. Because I mean, I'm not too sure of Sir Anthony's age, but he is still grafting, and with age comes wisdom. So it is a celebration. 40 odd years, in the industry, it really is good, and I think it's given proof to anybody, no matter what business you're in. And we were talking about your business as well, Brett.
Yeah.
Various things that you do, and your brother and whatnot. Just got to stick with it. Yeah,
Massively,
exactly
yeah.
what we were just saying.
Yeah.
You start something off. I mean, you start acting. Talking about myself again. Yeah, that's why I'm here.
That's why we're here.
That's why we're here. Yeah. You start acting, and it can. It's funny. It can fly, and then you think, oh wow, this is it. But it can pause, or you can start acting, and it's a slow, gradual burner, and you get recognised for certain things, and it just continues, and it's a career. And what do you get happy about? You was just talking to your brother, the same thing. What do you get happy? Are you happy about money? Are you happy about your achievements? Are you happy about longevity? You're happy about your life. So in having me here, you're having a humanitarian. You're having someone who cares about others.
Yep.
And someone who appreciates the fact that, through being able to respect other people, respect myself. I've stayed in this industry for 40 odd years, you know, just as an actor, voiceover artist, because I've got a very distinguishable voice. On the way here today, on the train, it's funny, I was on the train, I was talking to a friend of mine, and this guy looked up, and he's like, and he's laughing, and he looked a little bit like, not a down and out, but he looked like a little bit of a scally, right, this chap. And he looked at me and he smiled like that and waved, and I just went, smiled back, because that's the way I was brought up, not dragged up.
Yeah.
I haven't got attitude toward others because we're all the same. And he then walked past me on the train, the guy, a little bit, he knew I was having a conversation, he was gauging the conversation, I believe. This is how I determined this. He's gone past me, and then I think I'd stopped the conversation because it was good. I was having a fairly long conversation, 25 minutes or so. And then as he's come back, because, you know, people are all different. So he was obviously shy in his own little way.
Yeah.
But he looked like a bit of a scally. I noticed, I had my head down like that. I was looking at his trainers, and I worked him all the way up. And he looked a little bit like, didn't have a don't care type of vibe about him, with a plastic bag. And he just turned and he looked at me and said, excuse me, mate. Yes, excuse me, mate. I went, yeah, because he's looking down at me, and I was sitting down. He's looking down, and I'm looking up. I said, you don't mind if I have a selfie with you, do you?
Quality.
I went, no, it's good, man. He went, oh, come on. I was thinking, is he going to sit down next to me? He sat down next to me, got the camera, we smiled, and he was laughing.
Yeah.
And you know, and then he went off, and I've always had this thing, and I've sort of ascertained, I've determined over the years, it's the energy.
Mm.
Now, what he was doing for me was verifying through the. Yeah, I'm a believer in a superior being. I won't necessarily have a name for him as such, or her, or its nature, whatever it is, but what goes round comes back round, that type of thing.
Yeah.
I am into that, and I just thought that was a message saying, again, no matter how you're feeling today, Vas, no matter what is going on in your life, Vas, this is just reminding you, like a fallen angel. An angel is passing by just to say to you, do you know what? What you've done these past 40 years, this is brilliant. Keep it going, keep it moving. And that's what he did. Because I could have looked at him and thought, the fuck do you want?
What are you
Like,
looking
I
at?
swear.
No, swear, mate. Swear.
I could have thought, you know, like, the fuck, man? No, fuck off. Do you know what I mean? Look, stay here. One of them ones. But I was like, I noticed him anyway, because when we first clocked each other, he kind of looked, I just waved at him and he waved back at me, and he liked that, and I thought that's cool, but I didn't really think he's clocked me. I wasn't too sure on that, but then I do pick up on it pretty quick. And yeah, and I thought that's good, but that was a message, because, you know, I've had some thoughts about something recently, and I was thinking a little bit about this, and am I worthy, am I not worthy? And that was just a reminder. And then, strangely enough, because these things are connected, and I know I left him, he was laughing, and he got off the train, and he was just, because he did have a bit of a face on him, he was just waving, and I know I've made his weekend.
Yeah.
I've set him right up, and that picture, he's WhatsApping it everywhere. He's going to put it on his social media.
It's all over the shop, mate.
But it's love.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
love.
and that is.
And everyone's going to be laughing. And his missus might be saying, oh, he's a prick anyway. But, oh, look, he's got a picture with Vas. He's done well. Yeah. Do you know what? He's not a prick anymore.
No, I love him now.
I love him.
He can come home tonight.
Love's back. Yeah. Because he looked like he hadn't spent the night at home. So the love, I brought the love back. And it's wonderful. And then, as I'm getting off the train now to come and meet you, Jimmy, this woman, she's like stood up and she said, I knew it was you. I knew it was you by your voice. I knew it was you by, and I saw the fella who came over and said, so
Yeah.
she was waiting for her turn as well. And she was the same lady that got me to come out the other side of the train station.
She stitched you up there,
She
mate.
stitched me up
stitched
a bit,
you
yeah,
up.
that's what. But no, that's bless her. And she was from Waterloo.
Yeah.
And she said, I'm out of Waterloo. I said, South London. She said, yeah. And I said, we've all got our problems, darling. She started to laugh. And then she said, but my friend. So I said, what do you work? She said, like, this is the sign, you should get out for the car park. And I said, what do you, she said, I work here now. Because what happened is my friend and we're all both out of Waterloo. She's got a cleaning company. And just over the years, you know, doing the cleaning company in Waterloo, I think probably the accounts and the financials and just weighing it all up. And I think they moved out, her friends moved out to this area here. And she set up her company now up this area. So this girl, she is their best mates. She comes up here now, and she's doing the cleaning company up here. So it's all good, you know. But out of Waterloo, and oddly enough, where I was going with this is the fact that I said to her, "Did you remember Buster Edwards? Because he had the flower store underneath there at the bridge there at Waterloo. Because I knew Buster." And she said, yeah, she did, because he was proper Waterloo around that, from that area, and I knew his daughter and his children, his missus and that, and then obviously he passed away. Buster committed suicide, but he was a really good man. He used to pass on some words of wisdom to me, because I, again, brought up that whole Jamaican thing, you know, brought up, not dragged up, and I can talk to people. I get out, and I come out of my house and good morning, good afternoon, good evening, I'm one of them, you know. Some people, because everyone's entitled now in London, you know, everyone's so self-entitled. There's that self-entitlement, you know. So you say good morning to someone, they think you're gonna mug them.
I was going to say, you've done well to get someone to smile on a train.
I said good morning to you, love. Good afternoon. He was going to try and rape me. No. I've, you know, so it's that Buster Edwards and yeah, you know, because when Buster passed, I was, you know, very sad. Yeah, because. People that leave this earth as such, you know.
Do you know, it actually turned into one of my favourite films as well, with Phil Collins playing him.
Yeah, that's a good film.
Unbelievable.
That's a really. That's, do you know
No,
what?
I have seen that. That's a good film.
That is a really good film, and I saw that film. Right, I saw that film for the first time not too long ago, and I remember it was like on late at night, and I think it was film 4. And I really got into this film, man.
He done all right, to be fair. I wouldn't expect it, you know.
Well, he went to, I think it was Italia Conte or one of those places, Phil Collins, Yeah,
no, he done well. He done very well.
Really good film. And there were some things in it as well, wasn't there, that when you look back at some of the old faces, some of the old boys, them chaps in them days there, it really did, it resonated with me anyway. Like how he was carrying on, and, you know, and the wife and the husband-wife relationship.
Yeah. No, he done well. I must admit, I was surprised. But it's so Vas, how does it all start for you? How does Vas get? You know, how do we get the Vas we're seeing today? How does that start?
Well, so I did a little bit of drama at school. Right? I think I did my primary school. I played Joseph in the minute Technicolor Dream Coat. Yeah. And just I think. Teacher just casted me in it, no drama in that at all, not because I wanted to act. And I remember my first, say, how can I put this? That it's like a method of acting. They call acting, you method, you act, or whatever the case may be.
What age are you here?
Pardon?
What sort of age are you?
I was about 9, but when Joseph gets his brothers, they throw him in the well, yeah. And I remember the well was obviously about 1 foot or 2-3 foot. It's like a drop it, but it's a well. And the teacher never gave me no direction as such about the well. But I remember when they put me into the well, I went, oh. I don't forget doing that.
So you hit the bottom.
Oh. And I thought, you thought of that, Vas. I do remember saying, you thought of that, Vas. So there was that. Then I went to secondary school. My secondary school was a school called Sir William Collins. And it was in Mornington Crescent, near Camden Palace, Coco's.
Yeah.
Round the back there, Somers Town. Now, I do not know. My primary school was Eleanor Palmer, Kentish Town. Mum and Dad came to London from Jamaica, 1959. 163 Leighton Road, Kentish Town. They bought it for 15 grand. So you could say working to middle class. Lived in a house, garden, everything. Mum and Dad post office, mum nurse. So Eleanor Palmer was very near my school, was very near my house. apparently now Eleanor Palmer, the catchment area is literally, you have to live next door to it, but it's a good little walk to Eleanor Palmer. So that was my primary school and that little bit of experience of acting. And then I went to Sir William Collins, but I don't know how I ended up there, because Sir William Collins bordered on, I'm out of the borough of Camden, and I still live very close to where I was brought up.
Yeah.
Right, so I'm still in the same postcode in actual fact, and I'm very proud of that, because I'm a Londoner, and I'm proud that I still live where I was brought up, where I was born, UCH College Hospital. I'm still out of that area. So Sir William Collins borders on Camden and Islington, but it was really a school a toe rag school. Let me tell you, but this school, so the boys that came from Islington were the likes of, say, straight out of like Packerton Estate. You had like the Adamses were there, Tommy, Terry's brother, Gilbert Winters, who was an enforcer for the Adamses. But Gilbert was my school friend. He was 2 years above me. And for some reason, when I was at this school, there were some characters at this school. Unbelievable characters. I remember Gilbert had a fight once with a guy called Dolphus. They were both, I mean, it was like Ali versus Foreman. And I remember when the fight happened, right, we were all in our form rooms and everything, when the fight happened, we heard that the fight was going to happen. They were going to fight each other.
It's big news, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's big news.
There was a build-up. There was a build-up for it. This was for about 4 weeks. And you'd see Gilbert. But Gilbert really liked me for some reason. And I think that's where I acquired this bit of comedy. And I'm a Libran. So it's kind of like I could always make them laugh. Or they always thought I was a funny guy. They thought he was all right, fast. And he always had time for me, Gilbert. Always asked me if I was all right, if everything good. Just really nice, Gilbert Winters. And they're going to fight, and it built up 4 weeks. And then all of a sudden, I don't know, it must have been about 11 o'clock in the morning, and it was like, everyone's run to the windows. Dolly and Gilbert are they're fighting. So everyone rushed to the window. People come out, run out of the classroom, straight down there. And it was down there in the middle of Sir William Collins, Gilbert versus, and I swear to God, the concrete was shaking.
Oh, mate.
When these two went off at it. Both out of Islington, and this was a proper fight. And Mr. Livingston, Jim Livingston, right, teacher, passed away not too long ago, actually, Jim, rest his soul. Scotsman, big beard on him, right, and he was science and science history of Jim Livingston. But Jim Livingston, in actual fact, was near my house. He used to go to a gym there. Right, after retiring as a teacher, and he used to lift weights then. And he only died a few years ago, right? Big Jim, and he was the only teacher that could break that fight up.
They're hard, mate. They're hard as nails.
And he went in it because you had to really let this one go, you know, and it was Gilbert was winning. Gilbert won it. Gilbert won. But that was a solid fight, and so I was at Sir William Collins. A lot of them. Okay, so I used to walk to school. One day it was snowing, and we used to go through a place called, because you had Plot 10, Somers Town. Some people listening to this will know where I'm talking about, Plot 10. So you had Somers Town, right, and you had Cumberland, and then you've got the Hampstead Road, which takes you into Warren Street. And I was born at UCH, at the bottom down there. So that Hampstead Road, which is really going upscale now, it separates Cumberland from Somers Town. And the strangest thing back then, it was predominantly white, Irish, Cockneys, and there was Asians about them, but it was predominantly English, the Cockneys and this, that and the other. And I think what happened over the right to buy period, a lot of them sold up, bought 5 years, God bless them, moved on. Fair enough, no drama. And now it's predominantly Asian. But back in the day, Cumberland were having it with Somers Town, were having it with Cumberland, right? And what used to happen sometimes at school, because in the playground, you'd have like the Ballards, Andy Ballards, another famous family. People know them talking about the Ballards, right? Andy Ballard. So you know, he used to throw money up against the wall like that. Ballard, Andy Ballard, just come out of nowhere. He'd take all your money. Just laughing. God, Andy Ballard done it. You couldn't get your money back. I know Andy Ballard. Then they'd have the kicking of the can. And if the can hit anyone, if it hits you, everyone from the school just runs in on you and kicks the shit out of you.
Mate, I've never done that. No, mate, no.
Yeah, kick the can and miss, and if it hits someone, boom, loads of people. And then there were some boys that are real hype, you know, and they'd run in flying kung fu kicks, everything. You're gone, man.
Proper style.
Yeah. And then play in the playground again. What would happen is Plot 10 was in Somers Town. It was like an adventure playground in Somers Town, but there was a youth club there, but Plot 10 synonymous. Because it was pre-gang culture, what you got now. But this was well, we'll get to that. So what would happen every now and then, there might have been some incidences going on after school with Cumberland and Somers Town. Mm-hmm. So the boys in Plot 10, they'd bunk off school, they'd be in Plot 10. They're a bit like, say, what they call special needs type kids. But so they'd be allowed not to be in school, but they could go into Plot 10. And what they'd start doing is getting slabs of concrete while we were playing in the football. Just like I'm just a student living in Kentish Town playing at Swindon College, because they're having a beef with Cumberland. There's some boys playing football that are from Cumberland. Next thing you see is big slabs of concrete flying over from Plot 10, boom, into the middle of the game of football, hitting people because they're after people from
like medieval times.
Insane.
Yeah. This is my school.
Stone him.
Yeah. So, but when you get back in the class, say, because you go, nice, Plot 10, because we know there's beef going on between Cumberland. You find out there's war been going on. So the borderline was Hampstead Road. And do you know the strangest thing is that it's now predominantly Asians, right, living in that area now, Pakistanis and Bangladeshis and whatnot. And the Bangladeshis in Cumberland are at war with the Bangladeshis.
They're keeping it
in
going.
Cumberland and Somers Town. No, it must be to do with the bylines.
Yeah.
But the same way, the Cockneys and all of this, that, and the Irish, and all the Ballards and the Majors and all these families, well-known names, right? Same way they used to have the wars. The Asians.
Traditions carrying on.
Yeah.
Someone's got a nice job replacing the coping
That's
stones
it, yeah.
thrown over the wall.
And they don't mess about with it. They, because so if I went down there, oddly enough, if I went down there and I was in Cumberland, because just where Summers is, there's some really good Bangladeshi restaurants, right? But you see the young boys, they're not going to cross that Hampstead Road too comfortably and go over there because there's loads of flats still over in Cumberland. Because Cumberland, then if you've got Cumberland, then you've got Regent's Park. So they still have it, and it's amazing.
Mad.
It really is
Still
amazing. So that was my school, and then so what would happen is that so I was in Camden, so I would go get a bus from Mornings Crescent back up to my way, back up to say Kentish Town, up that area, and a lot of the boys used to just go over to Islington. So there's a lot of boys, just the way that where the demographics of the schools, a lot were out of Islington. That's hence my association or my knowing of say the likes of the Adams, because then they were just like young, like Gilbert and all that, because they all grew up together. They're like braggadocio boys. They're just like, they all had a bit of style, this, that, and the other. And it was odd because 2 years below me, a guy called Ben Quantier came into the school, right? Ben Quantier. And it's black.
Good name, it's powerful name.
Quantier, yeah.
Powerful
Ben,
name.
right? Ben was like, because we heard this kid called Ben Quantier. So I was like, who's Ben? But when you hear a name, right? When people talk about a name, he's somebody, right? And I remember seeing him, Ben Quantier. Even, I think he was 2 years younger than me, but I think he joined school, I think he came in the third year, so he would have been about 13, 14. And he was about 6 foot odd then. And he had a swagger on him, bro, like that. Right, and you couldn't get to look at him. He just focused Ben Quantier. And funnily enough, Ben Quantier, he grew up to be a top blagger, bank robber, top blagger. And I remember seeing Ben Quantier when Ben Quantier was about 19, 20, driving a purple Porsche, brand new.
Yeah,
right? Ben.
Nice.
And he pull up, and it's something scuffed on his shoes. Oh shit! Like his Gucci's or something. And he'd open up the boot of the Porsche, and all brand new boxes of shoes.
So he's done well. He's done
and
well.
He put on a new pair of shoes, left his shit or so. He's put on a new pair. Ben Quantier, right? But then he's like, but he looked like that when he was at school. But he was.
It was always that 14-year-old
one man
with a full beard and
one man
17
army.
stone.
Ben Quantier, did not mess, but full business. You could look at him at school and know he was, because my school was full of all of that, and he had ability, right? And funniest thing about Ben, not funniest thing, Ben fell in love with an Essex girl, blonde. He's black. Ben's blacker than that, right? Real black, right? And you know, he had looks. Ben Quantier, handsome man, but he fell in love, and she fell in love with him, and they were in love. And she was out of Essex, or it's something Bethnal Green type of thing, right? But obviously they've got links in Essex. But her dad was a bit of a face, and he didn't like it. He did not like it, or Ben had upset him, because Ben would upset you. It doesn't matter who you are, because he's coming. He's a one-man army. But they were in love, and I think something happened.
Nicked his Porsche.
and his shoes.
He got in the boot of the car, and he had the shoes away. The dad. Yeah. But no, something happened. It was like a bit like Romeo and Juliet. Something happened, and she got persuaded. I don't know what happened, but I think when the opportunity came, whereas it could have been resolved, it was like, no, you got to leave him. Got to walk away. And she did. And it broke Ben's heart. And do you know, up to this day now, I could take you down to Kentish Town and you'll see Ben walking around. All right.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And funnily enough, he remembers who you are. Yeah, his ears also. Same walk.
It shows you, doesn't
But
it?
did that kill him off, sort of thing? Like, really?
Yeah. Broke his heart. Because they were in love.
Yeah.
She was in love with him.
It happens.
But something happened. And it just took him down.
Yeah.
It's always the women, I'm telling you. It's always the women.
Especially them Essex women.
In history.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Always.
so yeah, Ben, and I mean, you're talking about some of the ability that he had as a villain, right? A lot of mental power.
Yeah.
Yeah. So love, and the dad. I don't think her dad, was like Ben.
Clashed.
Just obviously different colour. Do you know what I mean? But, and I don't know if the dad. I heard that the dad didn't like it because of that. But then I also heard as well that the dad was just like, you know, a bit like, don't know, maybe saw a lot of himself in
If
Ben.
he's grown up like that, he probably didn't want his daughter with a mirror image of himself.
Do you know what?
Yeah.
That's the
Do you know
thing,
what?
yeah.
You're the first person to actually say that to me, and after all these years, and I think that could have been it.
Yeah.
Because Ben was, I mean, I told you, purple Porsche. I mean, how many not even just villains, like at the age of 19, 20, driving a purple Porsche.
Yeah.
Right, and shoes in the back, if like or whatever, because his shoes got scuffed or something, proper on it. And I don't think maybe the dad wanted that, but she was in love with him. So yeah, you know, it's funny you should say that. But then when she did leave him, it broke his heart, and he went, and he's still down there now in Kentish Town. If I see him,
Kicking a stone down the road.
yeah, no, he's not even kicking stones, just bowling about. Sees, and he taxes people, sees you, because he knows you. Give him £1, £5. If he shit,
That's
give him
mad.
£5, he'll be on the
What a
arse.
flip, yeah.
If I give him £1, if you give him £1, right? If you give him £5, he's done something like this to me before. I think I give him £5 once, and then I saw him a few months later, and I gave him £1. He was like,
Yeah. Gonna have to do better than that. Better than that, Vas.
So
Come
there's
on,
a
mate.
cost of living crisis going on.
Ben,
here.
I ain't got any more. I remember saying, Ben, I ain't got any more. Goes, oh, yeah. So it's all of that. So then, funnily enough, with acting now. So that's my school. But with acting now, so then what happened? Then I didn't hang around much with my friends from people at school. In my after school, I didn't. So a lot of my friends were at school called, that's funny, where my son goes to, in Acklenburley. So they were more in Acklenburley, a lot of my friends that I hung around with after school. And that school, Acklenburley, in actual fact, very artistic school, really good at the arts. In actual fact, Jennifer Saunders taught at Parliament Hill School, which is very close to Acklenburley School, English, and Jennifer, they were both school teachers. They taught. So, and Dawn had a lot of links as well with Acklenburley, and there was a woman called Celia Greenwood, and Celia Greenwood established a thing called WAC, Weekends Arts Centre, which still is going up to this day now. WAC, Weekends Arts Centre in Belsize Park, Weekends Arts Centre it was.
Was this just for kids, or was it?
Yeah, young people.
Yeah.
But the oldest, you've got like young adults there, like in their 20s, that's, going at it, but it starts young and it works your way up. But they don't take themselves seriously, in the sense that they don't, it's not quite like Italia Conte and these places like that, of that sort. Not that there's anything wrong in that, but it is serious. It's come a long way. But back then, when it first started, they helped me actually, because I started to go, I started to go to WAC. And my friends kind of inspired me to get into a little bit of the drama. It's only on Saturdays. And then when you're older, you go to the ones on Sundays, not the Saturdays anymore. And then what happened was that I was looking for a drama school to go to, because my parents had divorced. There was a little bit of money floating around, and I wanted to get into a drama school, but I actually started to do a degree in catering. I got a really good job opportunity, which I could be massive now in the hotel industry. And I went to Westminster University. I started there, but whilst I was there was a girl there that was she was on the same course as me, and she was also a makeup artist. And she used to tell me that I was on this shoot doing this, I was on this shoot doing it on the weekends, and that was resonating a little bit with me. And I remember I was coming back from Battersea University, and I was like, we passed through Sloane Square, I was on the 137 bus, and I thought, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to go to a drama school. So I spoke to my dad, because my parents had just parted, and there was a little bit of money flowing around, and I said, Dad, I want to go to drama school, and I need some money to start to go to to entrance fee into this drama school. And he sort of like said, yeah, okay.
This must be massive as well. Describing how you've grown up and the school you've gone to, and you've got people throwing concrete over the walls to then sort of turn around even to your pals and say, right, I'm going into drama. It must. Well,
no, not at all. Because what happened was that after school, because Sir William Collins was down in Mornington Crescent, right? And so it's a good 2-3 miles up. I lived in Kentish Town. So if you know the demographic, if you know the area, the geography a little bit. So my friends that I was hanging about with after school were in my area, and a lot of them went to Acklenburley.
Well,
I should have really maybe have gone to Acklenburley, right? But I didn't. And they were all very much in the arts. So then I went to this drama school. I got into this drama school, right? But they were more taking your money. Aura, Academy of Live and Recorded Arts. You're still out there. You know who you are. I do love you all. I'm probably listen to this, but I'm going to tell you a funny story about Aura. So I got into this drama school, but when I went to Aura, WAC, because I was still going WAC, Weekends Arts Centre, and Celia and all them people, not that they were like sort of lefty, a bit revolutionary, but they didn't suffer fools lightly, and they wanted you to get involved in acting for the fun of it and to enjoy it and not to get wrapped up in anything, right? Wrong.
Not to make a career or...
Well, no, you can make a career.
Yeah.
But there's ways of there's ways of doing this. You know what I mean? Because if you look at how some people get on with it now, I can understand what they were dealing with then. And I remember when I went to Alra, some of the classes, one of the classes, the English class, they'd have a thing called a bone prop, right? Bone prop. You know what a bone prop is? A bone prop, it looks like a little bone, about so big, get them in different sizes, and you put it in your ass like that, right? So it's like a little wedge at the top, a wedge at the bottom, and it's for your diction to pronounce words like that. Right? And I remember telling Celia, she went, "What?" And I went, "They're using bone props." I said, "No. Do you know those things are banned years ago?" I said, "Why?" She said, "Because of throat cancer. You can't be doing that." So they started to tell me that they would be telling me that any problems I was having in an aura, I would talk to Wack about it, and Wack would be like, "Tell them, you don't use the bone. You don't want to use the bone prop because." And so I was getting a little bit of strength from Wack, but at Aura, what I was finding was that I was 17, 18, and I was finding that there was actors there that had like already been in the industry but had come back to go to drama school again, rightfully so. What's up to them, you know? Horses for courses, courses for horses, whatever you want to say. So there was people in their 30s. So when I was in these drama classes at WAC, and I was really behaving myself at at Aura, really behaving myself, because obviously my dad was paying his first term there, and I was behaving. But they used to do things like, Vas Blackwood, stand in the corner with your hands on your head. I'd be like, why? Stand in the corner with your hands on your head. I was going to stand in the corner. Shit like that was going down for me at Aura, right? So, and obviously because WAC were telling me to defend myself a little bit, don't go too tough into how they're teaching you because of this, because of that. Because Celia Greenwood, she actually taught at Central, right? She was teaching at Ackland Burley drama, but she was a teacher from Central. She went to Central, and I think similar to Dawn French, well, they all knew each other, these good people. So what happened was with Aura, I remember one day, because I used to go there to behave myself, right? So coming up, 13, 14, so yeah, 14, 13, 14, I was a ganja baby, right? So my hereditary is in my blood, I believe, so Jamaican, but my friends did, and they're all very middle class, trendy little kids, right? So that we used to smoke. But when I was at WAC, and it's not like the stuff that they smoke now. Back then it was like all smuggled into the country, like Thai sticks from Thailand, Durban poison from Durban, South Africa, Afghani black from Afghanistan, do you know what I mean? And like amazing, and it was all grown from the sun, not this stuff that drives you loopy.
It's insane there,
right,
isn't it? Stuff is...
this Malawi cob, none of you kids heard of Malawi cob, right? They make these things now, but this is all actually grown in Malawi, in Africa. Sensimania, Jamaican sensimania, Redbeard, Jamaica sensimania, these names. And when you used to smoke, the grades of the weed, this marijuana was smuggled into the country. So smuggling was a good business then, real smuggling. And we used to get it like the dealer I'd go to, he'd say like, so what you got Thai stick, because it was from Thailand and it was wrapped in a stick. The weed was on it, how it was grown. And I swear to, used to smoke that and it used to have a certain smell. So it was an elevation for me, you know, and I was a ganja baby. So, but when I was going to Aura, I was behaving myself. Because it was drama school and it was on me, my dad and this and that and blah, blah, the divorce. And so I was behaving myself. And I remember one day, there was a girl there, and she was a costume, she was studying design, stage design, set design at Aura. And she was cool, and she was actually growing dreadlocks, but a white girl. She was really cool. And one day, because I was having so much stress at that Aura, they were really hard on me, young. I was the only black kid there. I was doing ballet, everything, tap dance, everything, you know, but they used to slaughter me. And but I was sticking with it. One day, the main annex was in a church, big church hall. This girl, I can't remember her name now, she said to me, she said, Vasta, she said, Like, because she was always doing set stuff, spraying stuff like a builder, young builder, designer. And I remember she called me around the back, and I went around the back, and she pulled out a spliff. And I wouldn't smoke in the morning when I went to whack. And I wouldn't to the hour, and I wouldn't touch a spliff there. And even when I was coming home, I was trying to keep it on the weekends, maybe. But I was a ganja baby, and I thought, fuck it, I'm gonna have a spliff. I'm gonna smoke this spliff with her. Do you know what I mean? Fuck this, because it ain't going too good for me in there. And, just get back to me a little bit. So anyway, me and her, she said, I'm always out here smoking. I said, I didn't know that. She said, blah, blah. So we smoked this, and I had to get back in for an improvisation English class and acting class, improvisation, whatever it was. It was drama class, right? So Sorrel Carroll, yeah, I think she's gone now, but anyway, she was the main they're the main principals of this place. They started it up. It was her class, and she was like Miss Carell, you know, the one from 1001 Dalmatians.
Corella,
She was like that. Right? So I was in her class, right, and I was anyway. So I walked into this class like Bob Marley, right?
Chilled.
So she sort of said, "Okay, everyone, right, okay, sit down. Everyone sit on the floor. Close your eyes. Lie on your backs. Close your eyes.
Gone to sleep.
Right, you're on a beach. You're on a beach. You can hear the waves. There's about 20 Mr. Rules. You can hear the waves. You hear people walking on the sand. But then all of a sudden, you hear steps. Someone walking on steps, but it's a beach. And steps, and then you hear the sand, the waves. And then the sound of the steps stops. Just the waves, the sand in your hands. The sun is beating down, your eyes are shut, the rays. And then you slowly start to wake up. Wake up, everyone. Wake up. Sit up, wake up. The footsteps start to go away on the stone steps. Even though you're lying on the beach, those steps, that strange feeling, sensation of hearing stone steps, lying on a beach. You didn't see the stone steps. Their steps have gone. Those steps have gone. The sound of them, the resonation of those have gone. And the sun is still beating on you, and you're slowly waking up. Getting up. Keep your eyes closed. And then you open your eyes. You're coming back in. And at this point now, I'm like, as I'm waking up and looking around, I'm the last person, literally, right, to be waking up and looking around. And then I'm looking around, and then she's ended, and she's looked at me and she said, Vas Blackwood, since you've started here at Alra, you have been hard work, not listening, somewhat trying your best, somewhat trying to find your talent, but you've just not been engaging. But I'm so happy to see that today, in this class, you are actually beginning to listen and master the art of being a good actor. Well done, Vasta. And I just thought, fuck that, man, I'm leaving. I said, I ain't coming back here again. I was stoned out of my head. That's it. And I left. And I jumped before I was pushed, because what they did, the end of the term, they sent a letter to my dad saying like, oh, you know, he's a little bit young. Some of the students, they're older. Maybe should come back in a year or two's time. And all that. But I'd already told my dad. I went straight home after that class and told my dad I don't want to go there anymore. I don't want to go. So what I did, I left because I just thought, yeah, right, you don't even want to know the truth. Because every day I went to that drama school, I was behaving myself. I did not smoke. When I say that, I didn't smoke or nothing like that, because I was, you know, young, and I was a ganja baby type of business. So You know what I mean? That for me to do that in that school, there would have been nothing for me. But it would have been like sticking up my fingers a bit to my dad and my mum and the money that they'd given me to go to the school. So I was behaving. And then I didn't think I was misbehaving when I went round the back with my girl and had a little spliff, because they were giving me so much stress at that place. Every day it was like war. And when she said, "This is the first time ever you've ever done anything brilliant," I thought, fuck that, I am off. You ain't seeing me here again. So God. So what I did was that my friends who I hung out with away from Sir William Collins, they used to go to the Old Red Lion pub in Islington, St John Street. It's a theatre pub, very famous. Still there now. Got a theatre upstairs, great pub downstairs. And a lot of the Islington actors, like the likes of Phil Daniels, you know, like Anna Shirt actors, and just even now it goes a broader field. People come from all outside of London and up north, actors that go and hang out at the Old Red Lion. And you might go up and see a play, or otherwise on a Friday tonight you could go there and just hang out at the bar, and you'd meet producers, casting directors. They'd go in there and drink, because you've got the Almeida Theatre on Upper Street, which is not too far away, so it's a very trendy area. So I used to hang out there every Fridays, and I'd go with my friends, and we were like late teens, 17 type of thing. So what was happening there was a director who had just been given a grant by the Arts Council, had a theatre company, and was just about to be they were commissioned to do a play, tour the play. And back then, in that time, you had to have your equity card, your union card, actors card. So he was going to set up some workshops for 8 weeks, and expenses were going to be paid to go to the workshops. So I'd known him. I knew the director. We used to talk to him a lot. He was director producer of this theatre company, and he said, "Why don't you come along? Come along. Someone is writing this play, and when the play comes about, if there's a role in there for you that we think will suit you, like at the workshops." So I held my own for 8 weeks at these workshops, and then the play got written, and it was being financed by the Arts Council. They'd been given a budget and everything, and I got the role, and I got a role in that play. And I got my equity card. And funnily enough, I got my equity card at the same time as Bella Freud, the costume designer. And oddly enough, I knew Bella and her family from Camden, Islington anyway. I knew the Freuds. So Bella got hers. She's gone on to be a great fashion designer now. So Bella and I got our equity card, same contract, same show, same time. And that was it. And then I just became an actor. So at 18, I started as 18.
Yeah.
And just kind of that's me.
So was it Lenny Henry show that come calling for the first sort of TV show?
Well, no, there was a few others. There was a few others just before the Lenny Henry show, but oddly enough, working with this theatre company called the Black Theatre Cooperative Company, even it had white actors in it, but it was called the Black Theatre Cooperative Company, and we performed all over the place, like Riverside Studios. Mm-hmm. You know, the Lyric Theatre in Hammersmith, all over, up and down Europe, and Fringe Theatre. And it was me performing in one of the plays of the Black Theatre, because I did about 3-4 productions with them, that at the time, Lenny Henry and Dawn, when they were husband and wife, they were living in Hammersmith, very near to Riverside Studios, and Dawn and Len would come and see plays, just as you do. Yeah. And this is what I tell any young actor out there, you know, it's a natural progression to a degree that you do go to drama school, as it were, whether it's a term or 3 years, and then you get involved in plays. And when you're on the stage, producers, directors, promoters, they come and see plays, just like an evening out.
Yeah.
And what was happening was Lenny was developing the Delbert Wilkins show. And obviously there was a character called Winston in it, and he noticed me in the plays. So he called me in for the casting, and he knew what I could do because he was watching me. I think he saw me perform about 3 or 4 different times in different productions. So he knew I had funny bones, as it were, and the rest, that was history really in that sense there. But then round about that time now, there would have been things like, for instance, with when it comes to TV, I think there was like I did a few other little things before that. I did a David Putnam First Love series. Arthur's Hallowed Ground starred with Jimmy Jewell, and Freddie Young was the director. Freddie Young, first ever job as a director at the age of 80, 4-time Oscar winner. He was a DP, director of photography, 4-time Oscar winner for films like with David Lean. He was the DP on Bridge Over River Kwai, Ryan's Daughter, and two others he won Oscars for, Freddie. And Arthur's Hallowed Ground, which was a First Love David Putnam production, was his first ever job as a director. So I did that with them, and I was very young then as well. So there's all stuff that I was doing when I was coming up, and then obviously around about that time was Only Fools and Horses.
Yeah.
You know, the Chateau. So, and then Guy Ritchie used to watch me on the Lenny Henry shows on Delbert Wilkins, and that's how he got sort of a bit of flavour for me, playing Rory. And oddly enough, with Guy, we discussed when I met him, I told him about Gilbert Winters, and he knew Gilbert because Gilbert, obviously famous, you know, became famous. And you know, getting back to Sir William Collins as well, the great thing about when I started acting and I was getting out there and they would see me on the Lenny Henry show, Only Fools and Horses, this, that, and then especially Lockstock. You know, you'd go to clubs in the West End and that, when there were good clubs in the West End, I'd say back then, really, 90s and sort of 2000 millennia, you know, kicking, the clubs were good then. And I'd be always bumping into people from my school, and there were either black cab drivers or criminals that have just come out of prison, or something in between. Nice. You know what I'm trying to say? Promoter or this or that, and they'd be like really bigging me up, like, "You've done well for yourself, son. You've done well for yourself. You keep going, boy. Don't just do it. Keep doing." Because they're all characters. Yeah. And they're all come out of my school, and we all used to laugh because how that school was. Really, none of us should have come out with anything from that school because there weren't much learning going on in that school.
I've done a few scars by the sounds of things.
Yeah. You know, and oh, he died, didn't he? He got shot. Oh, like, oh man. Where's What's-he? Do you know what? He's on the run. Listen, this funny. Didn't you see him? He was on Crime Watch. Well, you can Crime Watch, yeah. The coins, he's making all the coins. They reckon he's like, he dyed his hair. Did you see him in that thing? Because there's I can't even say the name. I won't even say the name because he's still on the run, funny enough. And he's like, no, it's true. Because I bumped into someone else the other day, and we were running off some names. It's not too long ago. I said, oh yeah, no, they're still looking for him because he was printing money and everything.
We'll leave that one. We'll leave him out. We'll leave his name out.
Yeah, I've forgotten his name anyway.
You ain't got his number, have you?
Yeah. No, I've forgotten his name anyway. So, you know what I mean, Scotland Yard, I can't help you.
There we go.
Hard one, that. Yeah,
although saying that, obviously in your early days, you did try and hold up a supermarket.
I did, but then I also got the job as the security guard after, didn't I? Yeah. Millionth customer. Shattered door. And here's another thing as well. Do you know, like, I did this job and went to see Ray Butt. Ray Butt was the exec producer of Only Fools and Horses. So I've turned up at the BBC, and he's there at the reception. I'm waiting to meet him. It was the old BBC TV centre opposite White City, the old one. I think it's all turned into like restaurants and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I've walked in there, and he's come down, and he's got the flat cap on. He is Del Boy. And the strangest thing, because John Sullivan, who wrote all of the Only Fools and Horses, he was a scene shifter at the BBC, and he was writing that idea. They used to take the mickey out of him because the scene shifters are like, even on film sets, they're basically like, you know, they could work on building sites, you know, or carpenters, chippies. They're like, you know, tradesmen really. And John used to walk around with a little notepad writing down notes, and they always would take the mickey out of him and say, "What are you doing, Sullivan?" He goes, "Oh, don't worry, I'm writing something." And it was Only Fools and Horses he was developing, and he then got to meet Ray Butt, and he told it to Ray Butt because he was working on a set probably, and Ray Butt was like Del Boy, Ducker and right, like but he was an exec producer at the BBC. So he's come down, he's gone, all right, Vasta, you all right? Come on, come upstairs here, come upstairs. And he had this script on, he goes, right. And he's put me gone 4th floor, put me into an office. He said, right, you sit down, you read that. I'll be back in about 45 minutes or so, right? No longer than that. It won't be longer than an hour. And he's gone. So he's left me in the room now, and I'm reading this script, right? Walks into a supermarket, start stealing everything. Del and Rodney have gone into the supermarket. They're being done for shoplifting. They're not happy about that. I walk in, I'm doing this, I'm stealing stuff. Then they purposely steal stuff. Then security takes me up to the manager's office, and then I pull a gun. I open the safe. The safe's on a 24-hour lock. I'm in the office with them 24 hours, all of this and all of that. Ready, and I thought, because obviously then it was like 18 million people to watch it every Saturday. It was one of my favourite programmes. And he's burst into the office. You know, Ray's just comes, right, what do you think? Do you like it? And I said, yeah, obviously because it was my favourite, 17, 18 million people are watching this, I said, yeah, it's brilliant, Ray. He's good. Right, great, no problem, great. So you're going to do it then. Come on, I'll take you back downstairs. And now, at the time, I was up for a TV series, Channel 4. I was up for it. They hadn't greenlit it yet, and they hadn't casted me as I was shortlisted for this TV series. And because I was a jobbing actor, and I knew that this TV series for Channel 4 commercial station, because BBC don't pay you much, right? But that's another question. That's another issue actually, which I'll explain, because I still get paid now for Only Fools and Horses, but contractually speaking, but because it was commercial TV, Channel 4, they were going to pay off the bat more. Right, so I said to Ray, he's like taking me downstairs now, in the lift, going downstairs, and I'm saying, but Ray, you know what it is? I'm up for something else, but I'm sure my agent could talk. No, I'm going to tell your agent you don't like that other thing. You're going to do this thing because this thing's much better for you. I said, but Ray said, no, don't worry about it. I'm so happy you like. You take that script home with you, right, and you start learning it. So happy you want to be on board. He was like Del Boy. And he's kicked me out. He's literally kicked me out. Because at that time, we didn't have mobile phones. So I've gone to a phone box. I said, listen, I've just been to see Ray Buck. You know what I mean? About this show, The Only Fools and Horses. He says, yes. The agent was saying, well, it's good. It's good. It's good, The Only Fools and Horses. I said, yeah, he wants me to do it. Oh, that's brilliant. Yeah, but I'm up for this thing for Channel 4. I can't. What are Channel 4 saying? Oh, they're still dragging their feet. They're trying to get the lead actor, this, that. They're trying to do this. And the funny thing was, cut a long story short, I ended up doing Only Fools and Horses, and I've never looked back. And back then the contracts were brilliant, because it would be, you'd sign, say for instance, you'd get a fee, whatever the fee was, but then every time it's shown, you get a percentage of that fee. So they don't write contracts like that anymore. No. So say for instance with
hindsight, I don't suppose they would have wrote it then.
Yeah. No. Well, no. Not really with hindsight. No.
That's repeats back then weren't really a thing, were they?
Well, this is an interesting. All right. So do you know what? Because my industry is now run by suits, lawyers and accountants, right? So when they came in, they weren't creative in the sense that, as far as they're concerned, the actor's nothing. And I can never get my head around that, when the actor's the most important thing there to a degree. Yes, the script is the most important thing, ultimately speaking, because that's what everyone fights over to get a role, and that's what everyone, when you're actually in it, that's what the director's going to direct you in, that script. And that's where the actors come in, and that's where the lighting comes in. The script, if the script is a living room, they're going to light the living room. The cameraman, DP, is going to shoot in the living room. The director's going to direct the actors in the living room. So it's the writer that actually creates the production. But then these suits, they become like, with how much we're going to pay him? No. What, pay him £1,000, and then every time it's shown, he gets 30% of that £1,000 every time it's shown for the rest of his life. Like, fuck no, we're not going to do that. Whereas back then, because it was the BBC. BBC is not a commercial channel, so their contracts were fair. Lenny Henry show, same thing. Yeah, Lenny. I think no, I'm not too sure if Lenny Henry show is the same thing, but So basically, David Jason and Nicholas Lyndhurst said David Jason and Nicholas Lyndhurst don't have to come out of their bed.
No.
Nah, because it's UK gold.
On repeat.
Yeah,
non-stop,
so
yeah.
they're getting. They don't have to come out of their bed really. They're getting it all again, you know. Because I get paid every time it's shown.
What season was that you was in?
Good question. I think it's 4 or 5.
So it's relatively new. I mean,
Yeah,
obviously
4
it was huge, but
4
it was
or 5. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't sort of a
89, I think we made it.
I've never, do you know, honestly, I've never seen it.
Haven't you?
I've never seen it.
Come on
But I've
tonight.
never seen Only Fools and Horses. I
You
really
just got to
haven't.
go and watch it.
But,
Even now,
Well,
it's
at least
it's
it's
still,
very honest of you to say. You
Honestly,
know,
I've
Jim,
never
me
seen
being
it.
here and everything, and you never seen
I know.
the shit.
Listen,
that
it's Rory Breaker
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah.
Rory Breaker's the one for me.
No,
Honestly,
well, for a lot of them, it's the shit dough.
the one of the questions I want to ask you, Vas, right? And obviously we've had a good laugh, we've had a good joke, but it's a serious question for me. I've looked back at a lot of the comedy when I was growing up. Okay, now as I said, I never watched Only Fools and Horses. I watched a lot of Desmond's growing up.
Oh yeah.
Okay, watched a lot of Alf Garnett, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Now when I look back,
Which I was in.
actually you was in.
He was in.
Pele.
Yeah.
What? Yes,
Pele,
you was
yeah,
in.
Pele.
Yes,
Yeah.
you was
Yeah,
in.
the
See,
second- yeah,
there you
so,
go.
yeah.
So,
I was Marigold's cousin,
yes,
and I was straight, so I used to have rump the birds in that.
I remember, mate. I remember.
And Alf didn't like that.
but
Yeah.
but when I look back at that comedy, okay, obviously it's not acceptable in today's world. Okay, now my argument is, okay, I've listened to Ricky Gervais's thing on Netflix the other day, and he's got a lot of backlash for a joke he made. Okay,
Yeah.
a lot of backlash. You can't talk like that. You can't be like that. And it threw me back to when I was younger and the things I used to watch. I used to watch, as I said, Alf Garnett and
Loved Thy Neighbour,
Loved Our Neighbour, things like that.
Mind
Now-
Your English.
Exactly, but I had a lot of black friends growing up. Now, not once would I have ever gone to school and spoken to them in the language that what I've just seen on the telly. And then when I watched Desmond's, I used to laugh because white people were kind of, you know, made fun of to a degree. Now, what I'm saying is has any of that comedy got a place in today's world, or do you think we've gone in the right direction with regards to no, we don't talk like that, we don't talk like this? Where do you sit?
Well, I think, you know, it's like, I think we've gone in the wrong direction, right, with this thing, because it's like the suits running the industry say that with contracts and how much they make, how much
Yeah.
an actor will make. It's then now got to this point where, you know, what's right to talk about and what's right not to talk about. Well, within a context of a story, which is a fable, you know, it's like you can't, as far as I'm concerned, it's like, well, if this character is sexist, he just says things like that. But at some point, the writer within the story, if it's a good story, if it's not going nowhere, then you can't, why is he saying it? But if it's going somewhere, so that at some point, that woman there, she ends up, I don't know, when he's sleeping, she ends up like, I don't know, cutting his cock off. Do you know what I mean?
Extreme, but
Yeah,
I get you.
well, do you know where I'm coming
No,
from?
I know what you
If
mean,
you
yeah.
just, you know, if you
Yeah,
want to look
of
at
course,
it,
yeah.
because he's so sexist and he talks so much about he just batters women.
Tells
you know?
the story.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, he just tells crap, talks shit about women all the time. You're writing this, but then at some point, oh, did you hear what happened to old Bob? What? Oh, he fell asleep. His missus poisoned him, right? Drugged him. He went to sleep, and then she give him a lobotomy. You know, she's like,
Yeah.
whatever did to him. You know, he's a eunuch now.
Yeah.
Bob the eunuch. Right? Yeah, eunuch Bob. So everyone's calling him eunuch Bob now. Do you know what I mean? But she successfully just did it.
Who
you
was
know?
that? That was John Bobbitt, wasn't it? Do you remember that?
John Bobbitt, yeah, his missus
yeah,
done it,
Bobbitt,
wasn't
it?
yeah. And then now when it comes to colour, now for instance, if there's a racist and he's just bad with it, I think that's brilliant, because let him keep going in the story, within the context of the story, and at some point he's going to wake up and he's now black. In the story, he's black. Yeah, he's actually a black guy. He looks at him, and they've actually had the Watermelon Man. There's actually a script, a film that was made like that.
That would probably be the Disney remake anyway.
No. It was a good. It's called A Watermelon Man. Google it. Yeah, he's a racist, and then one day he wakes up, he's black, and he gets on the same bus at the same time, and he gives the bus driver murders. Same bus, 9 o'clock every day, and the way it starts, he does it all the time. He goes to work, and then one morning he wakes up, same thing, TikTok. He's black. He can't believe it. He looks down at his business. It's black. It's all black, and he has to get. And then he looks at the clock. He's got to get on the bus again at 9 o'clock. And it's a really good film.
I'll have to look
at
at
the Watermelon Man.
How old's that film?
Like to see that.
Quite a few years. Yeah, The Watermelon Man. But so that's how you overcome that. You play with it. You don't sort of like. But I think what they did back then is that they actually stuck with. They did not have any compromise.
It was needless.
Yeah, it's that's right, needless. That's right. It was. It didn't have any compromise. So what you found was that it had a beginning, it had a middle, but it wasn't justified the end. Yeah. So and what they considered it to be, and for instance, you look, listen, and the sexist stuff, the Benny Hill stuff.
Yeah.
Like he never got his own, really. Well, he kind of did. No, I said get his own. They never really. He sort of like. He would do something to a woman, like look into her cleavage, and then she'd look at him, and then maybe look again, and then she'd slap him.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that type of stuff. But that was literally. But you see the thing as well. I'll tell you something. It's odd. Hold on, just yeah. What you've got. What we've got to. Here we are.
Yeah.
I'm
gonna look for that. I'm gonna look for that.
Funny, and it is funny.
Yeah,
it's
no,
funny.
I want to look for that.
Yeah. But what you've got now, and this is the thing. Because I'm gonna try and it's a very good question. Now, with the internet, now that we have the internet, and this probably, it's made me think a little bit more into what, hence this discussion we're having now, because I was a little bit loose with it. With the internet now, I find that there's a lot more accessibility to absolutely craziness. It can take your mind anywhere you want. And the internet, Google, is absolutely brilliant. You couldn't have anything better than that out there, especially being a writer. I'll write and I want some references, and I'll go into that, and it'll have everything there for me, and I can find my way through and then get back to the writing. It's brilliant. But then in being brilliant and in being good, it's also you've built your own Frankenstein, because there's also a lot of evil and negativity on that internet, in Google as well. Yeah. So it's up to you as an individual to be able to decipher and to filter it. Now, what people can pick up on the internet to what a scriptwriter might get commissioned to write for a TV show, this is where I think the problem is. Yeah. Because the commissioners are now thinking, do you know what I mean? It's like they think twice about something which you could have maybe run with it. Because, for instance, there was no World Wide Web, I don't think, when they had Love Thy Neighbour.
No.
And there was no World Wide Web.
Nothing.
No, there was no World Wide Web or anything. Google hadn't. What year did Google start? Yeah. And computers. So this is where I think the question's a very good question, and this is where the management of that question becomes relevant, and how can it be controlled? So probably the reasons are justified why certain things will pass the mark and certain things will. And I know that the incident there with Ricky Gervais, I read something, I think I read in one of the news broadsheets, a really good article about this. Yeah. And from the mother's perspective, and I kind of sympathised with her perspective. But then again, it's difficult to say, because I mean, some people can get away with certain things. Some people can't get away with certain things. Comedy, I don't do stand-up comedy, but it's another genre, it's an art form. Ricky Gervais is brilliant. He lives near me, actually, up in Hampstead, and I do see him, and a lot of people, they do see him, and he walks on his own. He's a gentleman, and but he's got a tongue like a razor. So you think you could probably say he looks so simple. He does his power walks with his wife and that over the heath, and you know, you might want to throw some banter at him, but he'll answer you back. He's very quick,
very clever man.
Yeah, and then and then when you think about how quick he is, and quick-witted and quick-minded, and you know, and he's caring because he loves his animals and things. I think anyone who loves animals, you know, you've got to really like have some respect for him, because you know, I just think it matters. It's a dog's life, and Ricky will explain to you how it is. But as far as that issue's concerned, you know, I'm not too sure where that's ended up. It's not my business as such, but you know, he can hold his own, and you know, he's got big enough kahunas, as they say, to kind of like to put his hands up and say, okay, that joke did not work, right? And that's something that, because no one is perfect, and he knows he's not perfect, so
he's pushing boundaries as well, isn't he?
He's pushing boundaries, and he's doing what he can, but at least he's not standing up there and he's saying something which is not actually, in actual fact, regardless whether he's saying if it's racist, sexist, whatever it might be, it touched the point, and they brought it up, and you know, but it doesn't make him a bad man. No way at all, no, because I think he's a very good man, and I think he's a genius. So
I think he's trying his best. He doesn't want this cancel culture, because it's no good for anyone. You know what I mean? I think we had a good chat about this, didn't we, a few weeks ago?
Yeah, we did.
You know, there obviously are limits, and I think again it depends on if it affects you. If that joke affects you directly, obviously you can have a slightly different opinion to someone else, but. It's where it stops, because obviously, right, we're going to cancel that, then we're going to cancel that because their feelings are hurt, and then their feelings are hurt at that, and all of a sudden there's like stand-up comedy's disappeared.
It's difficult.
Who sets the limits? You know?
Well, it's sense and sensibility. So it's difficult because, for instance, they used to tell, like Jim Davison used to tell jokes about black people, and they're offensive.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know.
Again, is it a way? There's a way you can tell a joke. You know, you can tell a joke that's just
well,
funny, and it could be about anything.
No, but there is.
Anyone.
Yeah, absolutely. But then, like everything else, we have to evolve. For instance, you know, like the pub game. You know, how pubs were 30 years ago to how they are now.
Well, I saw something you put on social media, and I saw the sign. I remember that sign very well. Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah, look, no blacks, no dogs. And then they had no Jews, no blacks, no dogs, no Irish, you know, everyone else welcome. It's like, where's that? And the thing is that people tend to forget this. And some of that mindset is still ingrained. And, you know, some very well-educated people have that mindset right now, where we stand. So you have to call them out, and you have to remember what brings us together. Do you know what I mean? It's like you'd be like, I don't want to interview him. Nah. And it's like, oh yeah, no, I know what you mean, but you don't say it, you know. But we're not like that. So I think in everything in life, I've always said in life, where you've got a bit of bad, where you've got a lot of bad, there's also a great amount of good, and love always overrides everything. Do you know? I mean, I've sometimes looked at someone and I've judged them from a look, you know, and then all of a sudden I start to talk to them, and I'm just like, I just take that back.
Yeah, that's one of life's lessons, isn't it? Yeah.
And with age comes wisdom. But a lot of us, I think, what we tend not to do is we don't want to get out of our own ways, our old ways, you know. And I think that the only way you'll end up having a good life on this earth is if you realise that every day is a new day, and there's things that are put in front of you, amazingly put in front of you, that just you grow.
True.
Grow.
So
but
true.
getting back to it, do you know what the thing with the woke or what you want to say, you've got it's a fine line, and there should be, to an extent, gatekeepers. But then, for instance, I find it difficult, right, listening to American rappers saying nigger. I just do. I come from a West Indian background, and you call someone a nigger in Jamaica, they're one, not going to talk to you again, right? And two, if you keep saying it, they're going to say, will you stop saying that? You can't keep saying that, brethren. You know what I mean? You can't just sit in front of a Rasta man and I'm calling the Rasta man nigger. It's like, what? When I know Rastafarianism and what Rastafarianism stands for and what it is, the beauty of it is, which it still hasn't found its place yet in history, but it will, right? There, half of them all out there want to be vegans, this, that, and the other. The Rasta was there with that. Don't eat anything with a face, and don't use salt. They get the salt from the food that they eat. This is the same way people are trying to live now. Rastafarians, but how can I be calling a Rasta man a nigger when you know, and you read your books? I love reading books, and my books, the books that I read, and I think of where my ancestors came from to end up to be where they are. That mid-Atlantic journey was not a first-class Virgin flight, right? And then to go through slavery. Go through it being branded and this and that, slaves running away, getting caught, getting 90 lashes, back welled up, not allowed to get married, this, that and the other, the slave master coming down, banging away those slave women, having mixed race children, this, that and the other, sending them away to this and that. The whole demographics, and out of many one people, now we have Jamaica, a beautiful island, right? And I know that whole background that I've come from, right? It's like, oh God, I lost myself halfway in train of thought there. Just regarding, we were touching on, what was the point that you threw my way?
Just talking about some of the comedy I grew up watching.
Yeah, that was the point. But there's a point that I was trying to drive to. I was just getting to the point where nigger, this, that. You can't call another black person a nigger, but in America, they're just like, the rap's always your nigger, my nigger, and they've got a justification for it, and I don't believe in that justification for it because it's not a good word, right? And that's a black person calling it to a black person, and you know, sometimes white guys going, I don't really want to use it. I might use it sometimes. My mate said that.
When you lost your train of thought there, he was trying to get us to say it.
I'm not saying it, no trouble.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Listen, I know where you are, but I'm not
saying it. She was going, nigger. No, thanks very much, sweetheart. But no, but then,
trying to get us cancelled already.
No. But then you got the my nigga. But then I've heard recently, because for instance, I love grime. I like listening to grime. I like UK garage and UK grime, all of that stuff, right? Because that's evolving. You know, those guys they're doing so well for themselves. The white artists and the black artists, UK artists that are doing their thing, it's our genre. But when I've heard some of them recently doing songs, they're calling them my nigger. Don't copy the Americans. All three cameras. Don't copy the Americans. Don't copy them, right? Remember, America's New England. If you know your history, right? America is New England. This is England, right? So just be original and innovative. And nigger is a bad word. It comes from it's no good. It's no good, because when a white person calls you it, you get offended. But if a black person's called my nigger, no, you're not. No one's my nigger, and I'm not no one's nigger. Do you know what I mean?
Fair point.
Yeah, fair point. So so for instance, okay, so you write something and there's a guy who's going around. He's my nigger. Black guy going, my nigger, oh nigger, this nigger, that nigger. And then obviously you'd write something consequential in the writing. At some point he's going to regret using nigger, because he might wake up and all of a sudden, when comes the morning, when he goes to bed, when he's being booted, and a whip's hitting him, and when he looks around, next thing you know, he's in 1760 Jamaica plantation, and he don't know how he's got here. And all of a sudden he's hearing the word, "He'll move you, nigger this, nigger," or on a cotton field somewhere. And that's the last time. And he give him a week of that, or give him 24 hours of that, till he goes to sleep again. He wakes back up back in London, you know what I mean? Yeah. Near Camden Market or whatever, or down Bethnal Green Road. Then all of a sudden, or on Stonebridge or in Hackney somewhere, then all of a sudden he's going to realise that word, man, you know?
That's a short film waiting to happen, that is.
Yeah. No, but what I'm saying is that's what, when you say there's certain things that you can't write anymore, you can, but then you have to make them. Yeah,
you've got to.
Play around. Watermelon Man was a very good example of that, and it was done so many years ago. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. There you go.
I'm gonna look forward to watching that.
Yeah, no. You will like it.
I like to watch it
because he's horrible, the fella. And then he really like he's black. It's funny when he looks down there as well. So I think half of him wants to kill.
That's not too bad. That's all right.
Yeah. There's all of that in it. Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's good because I do remember that bit. Yeah, I remember that bit. He wasn't too upset about that bit.
Quality.
Yeah, and it gets brought up again as well a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
He wants to lose the look, but, you know, he doesn't mind.
I think for me, I just I just look at the world is a beautiful place. I mean, we talk about little bits and pieces and stuff like that. Now, my oldest daughter, I'm very proud of, Lauren. She's in a relationship, same-sex relationship, gay, whatever you want to call her now. Obviously, me being in the pub industry, I hear a lot of people talking, and they'll throw say gay this, gay that, gay this, or lesbian this, lesbian that. Doesn't bother me. Really doesn't batter an eyelid to me. And the reason being, you're not talking about my daughter. You're just talking in generalisation. If you was to turn around and say, Jim, your daughter Lauren, she's a fucking lesbian or something like that, then we've got a problem.
It's become personal.
Then it's on. It's personal. It's on. And I was trying to explain to someone, I want to live in a world. Listen, everyone I meet, beautiful. And I love meeting new people. I love energy. I love people's energy. And one of the things I said earlier, I love the energy you got, Vas. You always likewise, fail to make me laugh.
Yeah, likewise.
And this is how I want to be. I want to be, in a world where we can. I'm not talking about racist and sexist. I'm not talking about it, but we can laugh. We can laugh with each other, not at each other, but we can laugh with each other. But we also know there's things that should be outlawed, as you said. There's certain words should be outlawed. We should never talk like that. It should never be like that. And I
think you should never go out your way to upset someone.
No, why would you?
Why would you?
It's a beautiful world.
Yeah. I mean, listen. You mentioned that there about your daughter and everything, and it's the thing is that, sometimes, well, generally speaking, I think if you focus on your own life rather than watching other people, right, the world would be a much better place. And it's, for instance, if no one is upsetting you, right, and if no one is doing anything which is like, for me personally, the way I see it, if you're not upsetting me, and I'm pretty thick-skinned to a degree, right, or my family, my mum, my dad, like they're older now in their ages, they're in their 80s. And with my children, I think that they're beginning to, they can understand themselves and they can look after themselves to a degree, you understand? But then, but for instance, if your daughter is in a same-sex relationship and you just so happen to be in a situation where you can see, especially being in a pub game, where you can see something going on. Do you know, funnily enough, I'll tell you something, and I hope they're watching this, right? I went to a boxing fight years ago, right? And it's I'm looking at them now, the two brothers. I saw one of them the other day, actually. Gosh, I'm gonna remember their names in a minute, right? They're out the East End, good boys. One of them went to prison, and then they're out now, right?
Gary and Mark Delaney.
No, not the Delaney's, not the Delaney's. And one of them trains. Yeah. I'll catch him in a minute. Anyway, I went to one of their fights, and I came home. I left the fight slightly early, and I came home quite a few years ago. I haven't really said much about this one publicly. And I walked into a pub near my house. By the way, I don't drink alcohol and I don't smoke. Even though I mentioned, I just put that straight. I don't smoke anymore. I am a ganja baby. It's in my blood, but I don't smoke it anymore. Smoking it is a libation. Rastafari, they do smoke with a chillum, and when they smoke with the chillum, they smoke with the chillum to bless the world. That's what they're doing. And they call most people out there that smoke joker smokers, because you smoke for a laugh, but they don't smoke for a laugh. It's a mystical thing. So I don't smoke anymore because I couldn't really cope with the smoking of it anymore because of what was going on around me, But I have a friend he does in the Caribbean. He makes some like a marijuana like wine or a tonic for me, and you know, make a bottle, ferment it like 2, 3, 4 weeks, and I'll take a teaspoonful of that in the morning and teaspoonful of it in the afternoon. That's when in the evening before I go to bed, and it balances me out because I believe that it's the healing of the nation. But I can't smoke it anymore. I don't smoke it, and I don't drink alcohol. Now, where I was going with this was that I walked into a pub coming back from this boxing fight, and it was about 10:15, and I was pretty well dressed up after the fight. And then I walked in, there was a friend of mine there. She still lives in the same area. She's a good friend of mine. She was there with another girlfriend, right? 2 white ladies, cool friends of mine. And then these guys walked in, and I knew the guys. I knew one of them, and I knew the other one, because the other one, he knows who he is. The other one, right? He knows because he worked in Quick Fit, right? Years ago. And there's 4 of them. And they're like just lads in there. So that I said hello to them and said hello to them. I knew the women. And I remember at some point, because it was only 45-minute span, because the pub was going to close at 11. The pub wasn't very full. Some point, I said something, because I noticed that they were hassling the 2 women, right? And someone said something about them being lesbians. So I remember I said something about just you should leave them alone. Right, and I made it right, and they pulled off it. They just left them, yeah. Because I can't remember how it came how it came out of my mouth, but whatever. They left because they were both my friends. And the funny thing is that they weren't lesbians, right? So I didn't say that though. I just stopped that. What was going on? So they just pulled away from it, and then I remember being at the bar. And these guys had gone into the bathroom, but I didn't pay much attention to any of that because it was a little bit of a drop back, say 5-10 minutes after. And I just remembered, within seconds of them coming out of that bathroom, one of them came round behind me and went with a bottle. Boom! And I just remembered, I just was chewing glass. Next thing, one of them got one of them big heavy stools, bar stools. Boom! Over my head. Now, I could always, the thing is, I can take a punch, right? I know this from, there's the thing that happened to me when I was doing gymnastics years ago. I smashed my jaw on the ground and it didn't even faze me. So when it hit me, it was the force of the actual stool, because it was one of those big stools, heavy ones. And I think it was more of the force of it, the swing. And it hit me in the head after chewing the glass. That just took me forward, and I fell to the ground. And they started to weigh into me, and I sort of realised all 4 are fighting me. Man. They've come out the toilet. They didn't like how I dropped it on them, and all 4 are fighting me. So I'm trying to get the glass out of my mouth, trying to recover from the chair, and I'm trying to fight them. And I remember I got one of them, and I remember looking at the glass in front of me, the front big glass, and I know I could send him straight through this now, right? And I didn't do it. They carried on me, and then next thing you know, he's got away, because I had him, he's got away. I let it go. I think I let him go. And they've just gone out the pub. Funnily enough, they come back for the mobile phone. One of them dropped his mobile phone and all of that. But they set about me. Man. And you know who you are. They set about me. So, but I helped those 2 girls out, those 2 women out, right? And the thing is that when it happened a little while ago, because I didn't look good after they had finished with me. And one of them, and then what it was, I spoke to people about it, right? But the police had come, the police had turned up, and one of the girls behind the bar, the guy came back in for her phone, and she gave it to him. Right, yeah, I know, one of them ones. And the police obviously I had to get looked after, and because it went that way, right. And then I spoke to some people after. It couldn't really. I didn't want to get. In the end, I just let it go. I let it go. But they know they are, and I'm probably, God willing, one of them's watching it, right? Because I defended 2 women that were being set about, and they were calling them lesbians and things, you know. So these are the times. I mean, that doesn't break me. It's made me. You know what I mean? It's made me who I am. You know what I mean? This is when you look at me. You know, there's things like that I remember, and I remember that for. So when I read an article about 2 guys that get beaten up because they were homosexual. They're homosexual. They got picked on, or two women lesbians got picked on, or this incident happened with a gay person. That incident happened with a gay person. Wherever it is in the world, and if it passes my eyes and I read it, I remember. I know I'm down for whatever. You understand me? That's the time you're looking at when you're looking at me. So these things, you know, and plus, and I'm black. You know what I mean? As well as that, I'm black. So I know black gay guys that get set about this, that, and the other. So it's, again, you know, it's the cruel world that we live in. But those people who are going around causing, because you can't. Why? How dare you? And that's what I said. I said something to them and they did not like it. All 4 of them didn't like it because it hit. The truth hurts. And they must have gone in that.
You embarrassed them, didn't you? It's like,
yeah. Well, they stopped. They completely stopped. And I think what might have happened, they might have gone in that toilet, got on a coke. I don't know what they've done, but they've got themselves ready to come in and eat me. You know what I mean? They didn't eat me because I'm still here.
There you go.
Yeah.
She's got your fire extinguisher. Like,
do you know what? You know, funnily enough, it was just one of those things, and yeah, man, you know, that's it. Just shit happens, you know. But would I do it again? Yeah, of course I fucking would. I would definitely stand up for 2 women that stayed. Yeah, definitely, man. And this time I would be ready because what I did, I dropped my guard. You see, because when they went in the toilet,
you weren't expecting it.
It wouldn't happen again.
Yeah.
Because when they go, however because I knew that, I thought that's it. And they were going to go because 2 of them knew me. They were going to leave it. But must have been one of the ones that didn't know me wanted to. But listen, that's fast. I mean, I live a life. I'm just like anyone else, you know. But then with age comes wisdom. So I was talking about my career, 40 odd years. So with age comes wisdom, people. You've got to remember this. So every day is a new day. And if you're still on planet Earth, that's marvellous, isn't it? You can laugh, smile, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Even if they go, fuck off, don't worry. They should still have a good afternoon. You know what I mean? Don't worry about it. Yeah, fuck you too and have a good one. A better one. A good fucking better afternoon for you. No, fuck off. No. Have a good one. And so as you get older, you know, what I found is that, and this is how you live longer, is that you embrace life even more. And you look back at all those little weird things that happened to you and you think, but I'm still here.
They chiseled the story, though, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, because we're all rough and then we're smooth, you know, it's smooth. You're smoothing off that roughness and just keep on going with it. And do what you can for other people. Help other people out.
There's not enough of that in the world, is there?
There is, because you're good like that, Jimmy. You know, and you know, we're all we say there's not enough of it, but then what we're seeing now, there's a lot of self-entitlement. See, self-entitlement, and self-entitlement means that for some people is that you have to speak a certain way, be very posh or whatever it is, because that matters. Well, it doesn't matter, right? And also, self-entitlement, the school that I went to means a lot. Because I'm better than you. No, it doesn't. Because I tell you what, manners will get you where you need to get in this world. Manners. And I say it to my children, I say it to any youngster out there. And you remember, any youngster watching this and listening to me right now, no matter where you are educated, the top man up there who's going to make that decision to give you that job or to help you on your way, he wants to see manners. He don't care if you went to Eton or Cambridge or Oxford, to be honest with you. What he wants is manners, because manners will get you everywhere in this world. Manners.
Well said.
Yeah, that's where it's come to now. It's manners, because a lot of these these people that can help you, right? What they find is that they're being disrespected by these upstarts who think, you know, that's my job. No, no. I'll give it to him, and that's how we're changing up. And that's why I think good will always overcome evil, because people don't want to be. Even the people that matter, the ones that are there are a certain ilk that they're going to keep it in their circle, but that can't last, and it won't last. So just be good to other people, Be nice. Keep it nice. Just nice, man. You live longer. You feel better. You feel lighter. With all of this self-entitlement, I see it all the time. Self-entitlement. It's terrible. And I don't know where they're coming from. People that I know that own shops near where I live or around where I live, the shop owners, the bar owners, some of the bar owners where I live, because it's all these gastro things, they don't want certain people coming in there. It's like, why don't you just put that sign up again?
Put it back up, yeah.
Because they just want a certain kind.
Yeah.
And then that certain kind that go in there, they only feel comfortable because their own kind are in there. And then you get another kind coming in there, and they're going to feel uncomfortable. When the other kind coming in there, like say 6 black girls, 2 white girls, all in a group coming in there, they're just as credible. They've probably got more in their bank account than the ones that's sitting over there getting on like they're, vegan and they're all of this and they're all that. It's all too much of that.
And a skinny latte.
Yeah, it's all too much going on. And I think what we need to do, some people, there's that saying, let your hair down. You need to let your hair down. I say to some people, you need to go to Jamaica, because you're going to meet a Jamaican looks the same colour as you, white, and they're just different. Or Chinese, out of many one people, The Irish are the same as well. The Irish are good people. I'm changing it up and chopping it up a bit. Every culture's got good people, Cockney's good people, Travellers, good people. It's got, I always say to people, do you know what it is? One bad apple spoils the crop. Yeah. One bad apple. So you get one Jamaican, right? It just so happens, you don't know what's gone on there, but something's gone on. The next thing you know, as clever as they are, but streetwise thinking, they just come and set it alight. Don't point fingers at all Jamaicans, because that one Irish guy,
No, that's right.
One traveller.
I've always said 1%. Yeah,
It's the 1% of all of our cultures and all of our
And the trouble is, listen, you don't hear about the other 99 because they're not doing anything to actually.
That's right. It don't sell papers.
That 1%'s the noise.
The 1%. And do you know what? People talk to me about Jamaica. I said, have you been to Jamaica? You must go to Jamaica. I don't care where you come from. If I can look at a person and I say, you must go to Jamaica, so I'll promote Jamaica. I have dual nationality. The reason why I got it, because I can. And not only that, but I pass it on to my children. So they'll have dual nationality and their children. Dad left something for us, right? In that sense. But I say, no, you've got to go. You've got to check out Jamaica. You must go to Jamaica. I'm sorry, it's getting a train of thought. The 1%. Where else was I with this 1% thing? But you got I'll promote Jamaica, because you go to Jamaica and all of a sudden, you just find it's
a peaceful way of life.
No. That's right. So some people turn around, they say to me, "Oh, I couldn't go to Jamaica. It's a little bit. I hear about Jamaica. It's a little bit violent. It's a little bit this, it's a bit that." And that's always get it. You always get it. Now it does happen, but I will turn to that person. This is where I was in train of thought. I'll turn to that person and I say, "Do you know the majority of the people die in Jamaica of old age?"
Yeah, true.
Yeah. So it gets back to that again, of old age, and a good old age. Yeah, and it's the same.
Happy life,
and it's the same in this country.
Yeah,
and it's the same in Australia, the same in America, the same wherever. Old age. We don't promote enough positivity.
I love it.
Good old age.
I love it when people will say, "Oh, I ain't going there. It's dangerous." I said, "You live in London. Like, look at the stats. Like, you're safer in Turkey, Egypt, it's like I wouldn't go there. It's too dangerous.
It's the 1%.
Come on,
yeah.
I have to say, me and my beautiful wife, we got married in Jamaica. So we got married on the beach in Jamaica.
You'll never forget that.
I'll never forget it. But I can tell you now, a fantastic time. 2 very quick stories which will always stick to my mind. Whenever I hear Jamaica, which always pops to my mind, the pastor. Priest walked onto the beach. Pastor walked onto the beach.
About your Italian meal.
No, not my Italian meal. No,
he's thinking about it.
So I always
talk about food, Jim.
I always tell people this.
Good, man. I like it.
So when we're on the beach and the pastor's walked on, and he was 10 minutes late, but it doesn't matter because my wife's still getting changed, and starts talking to me. Cool, really cool. I'm nervous. I'm boiling hot. I'm in a suit, but he's cool, really cool. Start going through everything. He said to me, whereabouts in Jamaica do you reside? So I said, well, well, I don't. I'm from London. I'm looking. Oh, he starts looking at my paperwork. He's going, well, you got to be from Jamaica to get married the way you're doing it. I said, well, no. I've just, like, we came over and we said get married. He was, going to have to make an appeal and stuff like that. I said, my wife's coming out in 10 minutes. I said, what do I do? Like, I'm panicking now, really panicking. He goes, right, okay, yeah, we can sort it out. He goes, it's going to take a bit of time. I swear to God. I said, please. I said, I'm struggling. I said, what do I do? And he said to me, okay, we'll try and let you reside in Jamaica. I'm thinking, right, okay, how do we do this? I've got 10 minutes before my wife is out. Ended up being the equivalent of 200 quid. Paid him that money. On a bit of paper, I promise you, he wrote, resides in St Mary's Bay in Jamaica. And you know what, to this day, he said to me, congratulations. He said, not only are you about to get married, he said, you can also apply for a Jamaican passport. So I turned around and I thought, no way on earth. Checked my wedding certificate coming home, 100%. I reside in St Mary's Bay, which is near Ochariah, somewhere like that. It was that story. And then the second story, for our little honeymoon, we went to Bob Marley's
9 miles.
place, 9 miles.
Yeah, where he is. He's entombed.
Yes, we walked in there, which was fantastic. Do you know, such an eerie thing, because you take your flip-flops off and you no camera phones, no nothing. But the place is just, honestly, you can just feel there's just love, warmth. We walked around everywhere. We looked at the little bed that he sings about and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But when we first got there, they gave us a drink and they said to us, look, do you want some drink? And it was, he called it tomato tea, is what he called it. So we had a bit of tomato tea. So I'm drinking this tomato tea. This is fantastic. I could have another one. And the guy's laughing with me, really laughing. Beautiful, beautiful man that walked us around. Anyway, by halfway now, I've got my arm around my wife and I can see the colours and I can hear the music, I can hear everything and I can see everything that you can think of, mate. The most beautiful colours in the world. I looked at my wife, I was like, my God, you're stunning. You're absolutely even more beautiful than you are. And I looked and I thought, I'm going to have some more of this tea. And he said, I'll never forget, he put his hand over it and he said to me, you've had enough. I was like, yeah. But it was this ganja tea, so yes, they put all of that. But I'm telling you now, mate, it was beautiful. We walked around and everything. The colours, I've never seen colours so beautiful in my life, you know. The yellow was the brightest yellow I've ever seen, and fantastic time. But no, I have to say, anyone talking about Jamaica, I've spent 2 weeks out there. Watch your eyes, we got married and went to Negril, and I'll never forget it. Still will always have a very, very special place in my heart, even if I did end up paying to get married.
Well, I wanted to say something there now.
Yeah.
With this pastor.
Yeah.
You must give me his name because I'm going to go and get that 200 quid back for you. Because I'll tell you something now, right? In Jamaica, on I think virtually any beach, you can get married.
Really?
Yeah. Legally.
How long ago? Is it changed or not?
No, it's always been like that. That's why people. That's why people have the barefoot. You know, the barefoot marriages. Yeah.
This was 18 years ago.
No. Yeah, that's right. Don't worry, that's fresh.
I want interest, Vas. Tell them I want interest as
well. Because what it is, and then you hire the priest, the pastor. He's a pastor, but what he's done, he's nicked 200 quid off you.
Literally, yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to come, and you don't have to be living in St Mary's. And about the dual nationality and him giving it, that was just a little bit of buttering you up even more so he could walk away easy with the 200 quid. Right?
I was happy with that.
But
no.
Get your wife. He played with he played the Cupid heartstrings there because obviously the wife, you couldn't say no, but he's clever. But if I had been at that wedding and you'd call me over and I said, seeing the stress on your face, called you over, I would have had a word, he wouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
I'd have said, you're chatting. I would have said, well, just go, I'll call someone else.
We'll go back. Maybe we'll go back, see if I can get it back.
Let me know. I'll go and get that 200 pound off you, man. I'll make a promise I'll go and find that pastor. Because that was a lot. I had to say that because you know why I said that? Because I want to promote more people going to Jamaica for weddings. And so basically, Uncle Jimmy there got mugged off, but he did get married. Right? But you can go to Jamaica, and any of you can go to Jamaica, you know, the right age, whatever it is, 18, 19 with your partner or beyond third, any age you are, and get married legally on the beach.
Place.
Yeah,
honestly,
yeah,
beautiful
it's legal,
place.
yeah, to do that. Yeah. And
I love
pastor could, I think Yeah. A pastor officially will marry you. Yeah. Well, you'd want that. You'd want a pastor to marry you. Yeah. Why not? Yeah, that's good. Yeah. But yeah, maybe he was getting into some technicalities, but I could imagine you'd get that if you ever bucked him up again. Say, I want my money back. But then there again, you know what? It's done now.
Listen, what a beautiful time I had.
Yeah.
I'll happily give that. What a beautiful time. It was fantastic.
Nice. One thing we've got to talk about: Lock, Stock.
Yeah,
Like-
well, yeah, Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels. So, well, it's 20 odd years now, and I still talk to Guy. Still talk to all the boys. Everywhere I go, I still get people to say my lines. Rory Breaker. If the milk turns out to be sour and all of that. Yeah, and
Gotta have that.
and I just think, again, just fortunate to have got that role and played that role. And it's odd because again, it's brought me where I am here right now, sitting here right here now, just talking about my life, and my life is a lot more consequential, I should imagine, because of the, with age comes wisdom. So back then, though, but yeah, what a great film to have been a part of.
And if I'm right, it was Vinnie Jones was actually the seed investor on
seed
that
investor,
to
that's
kick
right.
it off.
Yeah, the Jones boy. Because what Vin done was that he had just left Wimbledon. Very good of his money, Vinny. He made investments, properties, and whatever he was doing, and he was looking, because he was a bit of a character. While what was it called, the Crazy Boys and all of that, Wimbledon, with John Fashanu and Dennis Wise and all those guys. Yeah, and that image of him, squeezing Gazza's balls. He was a character, Vinny. But no bars hold. No, he was a serious man.
When you watch them games, I'll see Wimbledon versus Man United.
See
the
some
other
of the
day.
tackles.
Like rugby.
Right.
Yeah,
Like
It was a nutter.
yeah,
lunatic.
didn't mess about, and the referee used to let him play on.
Yeah.
So there was no VAR there. So basically, this script was floating around, but Matthew and Guy were looking for money. You obviously, because with any film, any project, you need a seed investor. And then once you get that seed investor, there's other people take interest.
Snowballs.
Yeah, snowballs, yeah, because someone started it off. But no one wants to take the initial plunge. And Vinny did it. I think he put about 150 grand, 100 grand, 150 grand. He put it up. So that was up. So that could get the production kind of up and running. And obviously...
Was he already in the film, or was that...
He knew the role.
Yeah.
Big Chris, yeah.
Because he's perfect for it.
Yeah,
Like,
there you go, yeah. But then obviously you can only play one role. So they wanted to get the film casted and get the film made. But he could see that was a really good role for him to play, because to be honest with you, Vin's one of my favourite characters from that film. He played it perfectly, proper. I mean, some people said it was based off Dave Courtney, this, that and the other, but I don't believe that. It was just based off, and R.I.P. Dave. Dave, I knew Dave, good friend of mine, his children, good friend, his partner, good friend, good people. Some people Dave lived such a colourful life that, and also a villainous life to a degree, that he had to be a certain way. So there are some people out there, and I've shown respect to those people as well, that he might have hurt. But
what character?
yeah, what a character. But that's it's like the same. If you talk about Al Capone, you talk about the Craze, you talk about John Gotti, you talk about anybody like that, Lenny McLean. I mean, another man as well, from Lock, Stock.
Yeah.
Lenny, I knew Lenny from the clubs when he was a doorman in Camden, at Camden Palace and places like that. And I had a rapport with him then, because he used to let me in, Lenny, because I used to give him a lot of banter. So I think I was a bit of I was good at telling jokes, and he used to look at me like, oh, go on, fuck off, get in.
It's a good job you found your funny.
yeah, he used to grab. So I used to be like a group of my friends, right? 7 of us, 8 of us, group, and he used to let me in. Go on. Yeah, you don't fuck, you have to pay. So what I used to do then, I used to go in, go around to the back to the fire exit door and boot the fire exit door in. and they would come round, right? Yeah. And we'd get in, and then because Camden Palace had back steps, fire exit steps, we'd go all the way to the top to the bar at the top, and start the club there.
Nice.
And start drinking up at the bar there. It's pretty packed up at the bar up there. It was a nice little mood up at the bar, but most people were on the dance floor, and we'd look down like that. And you'd see Lenny like going through people, going right the back of the door, close the fucking door. Who keeps doing that? We'd be looking down at him, laughing, and all my mates would be upstairs. I've got them in. So I used to do that quite often. Go out to go fucking. And then one day he caught me, and he said to me, listen here, I don't mind you doing that, but when you do it, you get some money off your friends and you give me it, all right? So I had to get... So they wouldn't pay to get in. We'd get them in the back, right? They'd have to give me some money. I think if it was like £10 to get in, they'd have to give me a £5 or something.
Yeah.
Like, and if there was a few of them, the more the merrier, right? Because then I'd give it to Lenny.
Cross his palms with silver, yeah.
Yeah, Lenny, God bless him. And then we ended up being in the same film. And he used to take the piss out of me every time on the set. I remember I had this gold chain once I bought. There was these Gucci gold chains that were in at the time. And I'd got one from Hatton Garden. And I've turned up on the set wearing it. I thought it was really nice. And it was nice. And he looked at me, he's going, does your mum know? And I went, what? She know you stole the curtain rails. And he wouldn't stop. He fucking, look here, the fucking curtain rails he's got around his neck. Not only has he stolen them, he's wearing them. Look. And he would go at me, man. Lenny was a very funny man, you know. A lot of people don't know. And I know Jamie's son and, you know, his daughter, the wife at the time, and just good people. But then again, when Lenny passed away, 2 weeks after Lock, Stock, cancer, you know, you'd send your love out and you'd be like mourning Lenny, and you'd start reading things, you know, people saying some really horrible things.
That's the thing, it all comes out late.
Like him and that, and he's dead and all of that. And it's the same thing a little bit with Dave, you know. And I can't, personally, if you can't say anything good about someone, just don't bother.
And they're not here to defend themselves, are they? Not?
And also as well, if it was that bad, if it's bad, I know, you know, 'cause sometimes people, but what you have to do, and you were on the receiving end, just, you know, you kind of like, you don't have to make it public. You could say it at home, in private, you know, because the people, your loved ones, and ones that are close to you, they will understand how you feel. But it's when they start to, because what it is,
attention, isn't it?
Yeah, and the bad thing about it is, and this is another thing, you talk about social media, this is the thing, is that what some people don't tend to realise is that these people, these comments that you're making, you know, the comments that you're making and knocking someone, they have children, they have parents, right? And have you noticed now on Instagram and these sort of forums that comments are I see something that someone's posted and then I go straight to the comments, YouTube, you know, you go to the comments, like they're interviewing like Frank Warren or something, you know, or whatever, and then or Eddie Hearn, and so I love the Fox and Eddie Hearn, and then I'll go to the comments, like they might be interviewing Eddie about his next fight, not his next fight, AJ's next fight, yeah, sorry. And Eddie's like, you know, on fire. It's his man. He's promoting him, you know. But then people, you go in the comment, and people, because people get a hard on, right? Getting the most likes.
Yeah.
So they'll say
Massively,
anything.
Yeah, they will.
And this is horrible. This is it, you know. Even schools like that. Schools are like that because when I was at school, we used to get the cane. Saw it in college. You can imagine. We used to get the cane. You used to wait in the headmaster, the hallway. Get the cane, and sometimes if you put like book down there or something to pad it, you'd get 10 more, right? So when I got the cane and I go home, my mum and dad never knew I got the cane, right? Whereas now, if for instance my son is absent from school, they send you an email, don't they? They send you a message, they text you. Like it's a bit like and it becomes a little bit like Facebook, right? But he was at school. And I know he was at school because the school's just down the end of the road and he's got a key to my house and I know he went to school. And you phone him up and they went, oh, the system went a bit wrong there. You know, things like that, or this, that, and the other happened. That. So it's like, I know schools have to move at the times, but there's still that thing which is kind of like a little bit. They've done so many errors. It's like they try to get you to go at your child. So they'd send you a message of, he did really well today, a credit, you know. But you're waiting for the one where he done something wrong.
So they're taking it away.
So you want to go at him, or you want to say something, you want to question him about that. But that, again, in being a parent, no school should teach me to be a father, do you know? Because I know how I got to be where I am now. And it wasn't necessarily through the curriculum, you know. I just got to be where I am now because I think I made my mind up to be who I am now.
That school system don't work for everyone as well.
No.
You know, I've got 4 girls, and some of my girls are so studious and amazing exams.
Can you imagine?
And one of them, it's not a thing, but if you ask a fish to climb a tree, it fails every time. So it's like, you know, she's got very positive attributes in life.
Yeah.
She knows how to say no, for instance. Loads of people don't. Loads of people can't say no. And I think she'll go a long way.
Yeah.
But she won't go a long way through secondary school and,
Yeah, there you go.
You know, sixth form and exams. Whereas my eldest is in a university, and
Girl.
that system works for her, you know. She's great at that. But the school system's defunct for a lot of people, you know.
It's lovely that we should find that parallel there in conversation for me to bring it up for you to say, so I wouldn't have done that unless you said it, and it's wonderful. I think it's beautiful, you know, and it's the same way, you know. I look at that and I think people that are watching this podcast again, you know, and want to be actors, or we want to be whatever you want to get involved in, you know, it's not, yes, but what I have found is that, like, books, I like reading books, and even though I'm dyslexic, I read what I'm interested in, I get into it, and I've got a colour code that a friend of mine, a professor, he's a dyslexic, he's a dyslexic, not professing dyslexia, but he's studied it deeply, and I did him a favour some years ago. So what he did the test on me. I think the test cost about £800-900. Parents get it done for their children, and they find out the colour code that enables your eyes to settle when it looks at the book, because it's a thing about looking on the black and white, because it's not actually a black and white image that you're looking at in a book. It's a bit complicated to try and explain. So I've got a colour code which I carry on my phone, and I've got it on my laptop, and it's actually very similar to that maroon looking colour there. And what I do, I look at that for 5 minutes, and once I've looked at that for 5 minutes, it sets me up. So the words are settled. So I've got ways of overcoming it. But then, I mean, as an actor, I don't know how I've done it, but, you know, I've just done it.
Don't hold you back, is it? Yeah.
No, it's not. But I know when I've not struggled, but I've had to fight it and deal with it. And that's another thing again, you know, anything is possible. So I love reading books. And what I found is that reading books has really helped me. You know, not social media, no, not YouTube, not too much of that, but books. Especially books that you find an interest, so you look up a book, and back then in the day, there are certain books that I was looking for, and I had to go before Amazon, and I had to go places like South London, and when I'd get there to this sort of bookshop, like say Afro-Caribbean bookshop, looking up certain things I wanted to look up, some books were, what had happened is that the book, what you'll find is that with really interesting books, especially books that can help a nation or heal a nation, you'll find that they're usually out of print. And what happens when they say they're out of print, and especially when I found this out that when they're out of print, I remember a librarian was telling me, well, what usually happens is that some people will buy up books because they don't want people to read these books. They literally buy the books.
Believe
and
it
stop.
as well, yeah.
Honestly,
100%.
So out of print. And but there's one book I remember was out of print, and it's Cassidy and LePage. It's a dictionary of the Jamaican language, right? But it's written by this guy Cassidy and LePage, they're Oxford scholars, and it written in 1790 or something like that. The book was written, but it's really good. It's like an anthropology book. And I remember going to find it somewhere in South London. But what he did was that he printed it. I don't know where he got the copies of the pages from, but he printed off the pages. So I didn't actually buy the book. But Amazon, a few years ago, I bought the book. Cost a little bit of money, but I've got the actual book now. But books are so, like, if you want to learn about the Ku Klux Klan, books buy some books on the Ku Klux. No, honestly, don't
But
listen
it's
to
almost a dying art, and people don't read as many books.
Sit down and read a book,
Yeah.
and then take your time and read it. Like I'll read 4 books at once, like changing the channel. So what I do, I read 45 minutes on each book, and I time myself. That book, 45 minutes. That book. So in one sitting, it's over a couple of hours, right, or just under a couple of hours or something. And so it's 4, and the 4 that I'm reading at the moment, again, they're all of great interest, and I keep it. I've got books everywhere around me, books, because anything that I get confused about. But sometimes the young people nowadays, to give them credit, which we must give young people credit, is that young people have a new way of doing it. And a friend of mine said, you've got to give them credit, right? Don't get steam into it too hard, because they've got a new way of making money.
Cool. And some.
Cool.
Yeah. And it's serious, and you've got to, like, if anything, just take a back seat and watch them float.
Well, it's like what you said half hour ago. Everything evolves.
Yeah.
You know, like you do. You know, how many people look and they'll see this. You know, they'll see so they go, "It's not a real job." What's a real job? You know, like
now what is a real job? And they used to. People used to say that to me about an actor when I started.
Yeah, get a real job.
Yeah, all of that. And then now I laugh and I say, well, what is a real? Especially look how much they needed us during COVID.
Yeah.
You know, the entertainment industry is huge now. The entertainment, but what people tend to forget, because often people forget the truth very easily. But we were sitting around campfires in caves, listening to stories. That was first form of entertainment. Drawing things on cave walls. Yeah, that was entertainment. Telling you stories.
That was lockdown 1, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was lockdown, the first one.
Do you know what, funnily enough, they would draw things and they would explain, like, to the young ones coming up, like they'd show the creatures, the ones to be careful of.
Yeah.
And then this is how we hunt them. And then the hunters would show in the image of how they brought that in what they're just eating now, you know, the hunter-gathering thing. So storytelling has always been, it's always been the way forward as far as that's concerned. And books. But young people now, they changed up the game. So again, you know, I kind of have my little thing a little bit with the internet, but I love it. As I said, I can't Google when it comes to Google and information, and I'm writing, it's absolutely brilliant, but I can also see where it's destructive. But young people now, they've got a different way. We used to make money, I think we still make eye to eye, shake hands, this, that and the other. I want to meet you there, I want to see the person. But they're setting it up different now, and I've got to give them more credit again, because again, like you're talking about your daughter there, the one who doesn't want to go that way, well, she might be the first one to be the millionaire.
Yeah, literally. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not that money's everything,
Yeah.
but you know, they will find a niche because they're hungry for it.
Yeah.
You know, whereas I used to think, my daughter tells me something, a 20-year-old, she'll tell me certain things, and I'm a little bit like, oh, that's a bit too, no, Dad, this. And some of the things that she told me maybe 3-4 years ago, with what, you know, where her mind's at and how she sees things and what she's learning from the internet and this, that, just makes sense. It makes sense to me now.
Yeah.
And you know, so we're not like, I mean, they can take something from us, and young people, we can take something from them.
Listen, we learn every day, don't we? We learn every day.
Every day's a school day.
100%. But I think it's powerful lives, powerful message, definitely.
Yeah, you know, and it's been wonderful to come here, and you know, it's different because I mean, like, there's certain things that I've not had time to talk about, but I will come back again and discuss them with you further, because as you know, I'm 25 years a Freemason, 25 years, I will say that much. And they're all thinking, oh, why doesn't he talk about that? But then I'll tell you something funny happened the other day. Someone said to me, oh, Vas, because I am eventually going to have my own podcast. I'd like to do that. Also as well, Gorilla Brand, my boys at the Gorilla Brand, kitting me up with a nice bit of clothes. I've got to put out to the Gorilla Brand.
Nice shout out to Gorilla Brand.
Gorilla Brand. Not them yet, but it's coming for them. Gorilla Brand, they want Gorilla Brand. But I was going to say, 25 years of Freemason. So, so I'm going to eventually I would like to do my own podcast, time permitting and everything. And my manager, he was saying to me, oh, you know, you took a picture, because I took a picture outside Grand Lodge. I was going to a meeting, and I bumped into Mega Man from Soul Solid, and he's a Mason. And the funny thing about it is that I knew he was a Mason. He's coming up. He hasn't been in it as long as me, but I bumped into him at Grand Lodge, and he was going to a meeting, just nothing to do with me. And I just saw him, and I said, "Look, come on, let's take a picture." I said, but when I saw him, I looked at him, and I thought, he reminds me of me. There's something about him, because I know he was really interested in it, and I just didn't, because he told me. And then now he's a worshipful master, and he's whatever in his Freemason, but he's on his personal journey. It makes good men better men, basically, to a degree. And anyone you meet out there that's trying to better themselves, you know, spiritually, and we don't ride goats and we're not devil worshippers. But the funny thing is, so when I put this picture of Mega Man and I outside Grand Lodge, and this is why it's good to touch on it actually as a flavour for maybe the next time I come on your show.
Definitely.
My manager was telling me, right, and he's like a black guy, my manager, and he's like out of Edmonton, successful businessman, this, that, and he's like going, yeah, Vas, you know, we've been noticing a few comments, people have been making some comments, you know, about like, because, oh, you got to address them comments, and I was like, what, because about you and Mega being a Freemason, and there's this thing about the Illuminati, and they're like part of the devil. And I have to laugh, but I will address. But the funny thing is, I have to laugh. But I'll tell you one thing now, right? When I became a Freemason, right, it wasn't to get a leg up in this industry. I'm not a multi-millionaire, right? My parents, they came to this country. They got their first property, 15 grand, and I think that instilled something in my sister and I and my brother. So I got my first mortgage when I was in my 20s. Nothing to do with Freemasonry, right? So I stepped on a property ladder and I just hustled as an actor to pay my mortgage, and things happen. But still now, up to this day, you know, where I can see Freemasonry's helped me is that, because when I first got into it 20 odd years, because Lockstock had just started, and we were just doing, I remember Matthew and Guy used to laugh at me because I'd just started being a Freemason. It was like, they were laughing a little bit, not in a bad way, but they were just like, oh, he's getting into that. They were like, cool, good for you, whatever rocks your boat. But it did not help me. And go around, do no funny signs, and I've got a big job in a film. You know? So like Idris Elba, he's in the Freemason. He's a successful actor, huge, you know, everyone knows Idris as such. So, but what I have found is that the wonderful thing about it is that as I've got older, I've started to and with its values, I've started to realise how me being with it and me still being an actor, I can start to see a parallel. And it's really strange. It's very difficult to explain with Freemasonry, but because, you know, every day you make bad decisions and you make good decisions, and life is in a lodge room, there's like the black and white on the floor. It's like the checkered pavements, and that is to do with one minute you step into good, the next minute you step into bad, and it's how you deal with it, and then you step again, it's good. Because if life was all good, wouldn't it be boring?
Well, you wouldn't know what good is.
Yeah, you wouldn't. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So, and it's just a thing, you have to believe in a superior being, and not have a criminal record. When I say a criminal record, I mean like something really bad, right? Like rape, mass fraud, you know, not like stealing a push bike when you were a kid. And then there's also as well, there's a criminal a rehabilitation criminal act, whereas that I think over a period of time, if you fit within that category, you can still sign a form to become a Freemason. But it's up to the to Grand Lodge to sort of like ascertain whether they'll accept that. But it's just something that I met some people, man. I've met some brothers, right? There's a lodge called the SAS Lodge, right, called Rosemary Lodge, and you have had to been in the SAS 7 years to be a member of this lodge. So you've got active members of SAS and retired members of SAS. So we can visit other lodges, right? Yeah. And I've visited SAS, the Rosemary Lodge, about 3 times in my Masonic career. And I remember being at one, because after every meeting we have festive board. So we dine together, we sit down, we all talk. So because in the lodge's room is a different thing. So festive board, and I'm at this festive board of one of the Rosemary Lodge meetings, and they have stewards, and the stewards are the masons, but they're the younger ones, like, kind of thing. They'll pour the wine, and then they go back and sit down again. But when the wine's going down, they'll pour the wine. And there was one steward, he's pouring me wine, but I don't drink. But anyway, he was pouring it. He was going, "God, look at this." I was talking to Wolf, who I went with. Now, Wolf is a C SAS, and then you got the land SAS. They have rivalry, right? So old boy Wolf, I'm with football, he goes, "Yeah, can you look at this? Yesterday I was bagging bodies in Afghanistan. Today I'm pouring wine for Rory Break." He's young sus. He's active, man. He literally come back in yesterday from Afghanistan, right? And I was laughing, and he had a big smile on his face. But some of the stories, like Wolf. See Wolf, he's 80 years of age, right? Wolf, Second World War. They used to put Wolf, right, in a torpedo shell, right? Fire him off to the enemy side, right? Wolf, yeah? He'd then swim wherever he's got to go to, set charges and explosives all around planes, these planes at the location he had to go to, blow up about 50 Nazi planes or whatever he'd done, go back to the edge of the sea, dive in and swim however far out, and they'd pick him up again in the sub.
What's man?
Wolf, and he's sitting next to me now. Wolf is 80, right?
That's a true story.
Yeah, that's what he used to do that regular. And when you hear him talking with the land ones, there's some of the things they talk about Wolf. And Wolf said to me once, "When you cut a man's throat with a blade, always make sure the blade is wet." And I shout out, Wolf, don't give him all of our secrets. No, that's in the army, that's in warfare. But here's another one. So there's another brother sitting up opposite me, right? It's at Rosemary Lodge, right? These are the type of characters that you meet in Freemasonry. And it's like he looked Chinese. So he had some Chinese blood. I think half Chinese, half English. But he's an old boy, like sort of in late 70s. And then Wolf saying, "You know that he's over there, then, don't you?" And I said, "Who?" He said, "He's the spotter." I said, "The spotter? What's the spotter, Wolf?" He said, "He's written loads of books about spotting him." Right? He's a well-educated fella, but he's written books about spotting. So what does he do then, Wolf? Well, this is what he does. Now, I think right now the Americans own the record for the longest shot, but we had it a few years ago. It was 1 mile. 1 mile. Pop! Take your head off. 1 mile, right? The spotter sets up the shot. So what this fella I'm looking, he's opposite, and I've met him a couple of times at other lodge meetings as well. See him now, he's written all these books. Him. He goes behind where the target is. If you're the target, right, he situates, he digs a hole. Man. And he lives in a hole. You can't see him, but he lives in a hole. Very near you, maybe could be a radius of 500 yards, wherever, but he's near you. He's the spotter. Enemy lines, he living in a hole. He used to live in a hole, him. And he sets up the coordinates for the longest shot with the guy who's the shooter.
That's insane, isn't it?
Yeah, and he's written about 4 books about it, and him. I sit there talking to him and everything. Johnson B. Harry, the Barefoot Soldier. His book's called The Barefoot Soldier. Barefoot Soldier. He is a living Victoria Cross, the black fella. Johnson B. Harry. He's a Freemason. I've got his number in my... And him, he said to me, when you join the army, you do what the army says. But when you're a living member for Victoria Cross, they do what you say. He goes all over the world with it. Nice. And he took off the back of his head, and he saved his whole platoon, right? Tank load. He kept going. He was leading it. Twice it happened to him. Right? The Afghanis nearly had him out. The opposition or the enemy. I've got pictures of meetings when I'm meeting him. Well, it was 1,000 odd people when he was initiated, Johnson B. Harry, you know, and he is a living Victoria Cross holder. Real hero. No, they're real heroes. He's a real hero, definitely. Right? Now, you could be sitting next to Wolf on a tube and just think it's some old fella. But if it weren't for Wolf, you wouldn't be sitting on that tube. Mm. Do you know where I'm coming from? And it's not just, it's not just brothers like that. Those are brothers on that spectrum. But there's brothers that I've met that, like all different, butchers, fishmongers, this, that, all different lines of business that they're in. But we share that thing in common, and because you're known by the company you keep to a certain degree. And that's just me. My uncle was one in Jamaica. He's a barrister. He was one. And it's lodges in they're all over the world. And wherever I go in the world, I'll visit a lodge as a travelling man, because I know when I go in there, it's not like meeting someone in a pub. And when I go in there, I know there's going to be a policeman in there. I know there's going to be, or someone who knows policemen. There's going to be someone there in finance. There's going to be someone there as a lawyer. There's going to be someone there as a doctor. There's going to be someone there who might know something about the building trade. Straight away, I've got a safety net. So if I wanted to buy a property there, I'm going to get the right advice, counsel. Because any idiot can give you advice. Remember that. Any idiot can give you advice. You go to people that know what they're talking about for counsel. So it's just one thing that's part of my life. And it's also very historic as well. And it does something for me. So Freemasonry. So next time I come, we'll have a little further discussion about the Freemasonry. But that is something that's very much a part of me, as well as being an actor and as well as trying to be a civilised human being as much as possible. But remember, I went to Sir William Collins.
No, listen. I think that's been incredible to share that.
It's been great, mate. Been great.
It's been nice, hasn't it?
Do you know what? I could honestly sit here for hours and hours and hours.
I'll come back. No, I will come back. I will come back.
Please
definitely.
do. Yeah,
we can continue on the a bit more, a bit spirituality, and maybe come back and tell you some new projects. When I've got a project coming up and all of that, that'd be lovely. I'd like to sort of promote that as well.
And we'd love to have you on again. And but one thing, can we get it, please? Can we get that iconic line? Yeah, which maybe into those cameras, just straight into
that one there.
Well, I'm going to do two. I'm going to do two from Lockstock, and one from Only Fools and Horses. That's what I'm going to give.
Perfect.
So good things come in threes, right? You ready? So you ready? Right? Okay. This first one is from Only Fools and Horses. They seek him here. They seek him there. Those policemen seek him everywhere. Is he in heaven or is he in hell? That damn elusive shadow. Bloody watch. My mum only got it for me a few weeks ago down the supermarket. That was Lennox Gilby. Now, two from Lockstock. If the milk turns out to be sour, I ain't the type of pussy to drink it. What's this I hear about yous lot wanting to steal my cannabis and sell it back to me? Is this a declaration of war? Is this some white cunts joke that black cunts don't get? Because I ain't fucking laughing, Nicholas.
Yes, mate. Mr. Vas Blackwood.
It's been a pleasure.
Mate, what a man. What a man.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Everyone, Vas Blackwood.
Thank you very much.
The man.
Adios.
Superb, mate.